The latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning. It's 5:10. I'm Manda Factor. The Snohomish County Sheriff's Office is investigating an officer-involved shooting at a 7-Eleven in Bothell. This is developing right now, and KIRO News Radio's John Rep is on the scene. What can you tell us, John?
Hey, Amanda, I'm over at Thrasher's Corner in Bothell. It's right across from the Safeway at the intersection of Bothell Everett Highway and Maltby Road, 208th Street Southeast. You will see the police lights as you're driving up here. We have very little information from the scene, but you can tell that it's blocked off with yellow police tape. Officers are here. There are about 6 or 7 police patrol cars here, but I'm not seeing any active processing of the scene outside of the 7-Eleven store, although I am seeing some movement inside. So a lot of questions about the timing of this shooting, what led up to it, the condition of the person shot. So we are expecting more from police soon. We're expecting a public information officer to be here on the scene to give us a little bit more details about what we're looking at this point. But we'll stay here and continue to update you as we have new information. Live in Bothell, John Rep, KIRO News Radio.
John, thank you. A former University of Washington student from Bellevue is now charged with first-degree murder, accused of fatally stabbing 19-year-old Juniper Blessing more than 40 times on May 10th. We get the update from KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
The murder charge against 31-year-old Christopher Leahy comes with a deadly weapons enhancement. Casey McNurthney with the King County Prosecutor's Office says that means a longer sentence if convicted.
If convicted as charged, the defendant would face between 20 and a third and 28.6 years.
Prosecutors say the attack was totally random. In fact, it is alleged Leahy was stalking another student when he came across Juniper Blessing and refocused his attention on her. Bail remains at $10 million. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Washington has a new state Supreme Court justice. The Washington State Standard reports Theo Angeles was formally sworn in yesterday at the Temple of Justice in Olympia. Governor Bob Ferguson appointed him to the role in March. Angeles has actually been on the court for about 6 weeks already, but the ceremony yesterday made it official. Ferguson called him a brilliant legal mind and the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. Angeles replaces retired Justice Barbara Madsen, who'd been on the court since 1993. She was the first woman elected to Washington's Supreme Court. Mariners got back on track yesterday with a dominant victory over the Chicago White Sox. It was 6-1. M's outfielder Julio Rodriguez stayed hot, launching his 8th home run of the season into the stands.
Here's the pitch on the way. Swinging a fly ball deep into the gap in right center field. Going, and this one is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Holy smokes.
Mariners will look to continue on the winning track. They take on the White Sox again at T-Mobile Park. First pitch, 6:40. Bryce Miller will take the mound for Seattle, his second start of the season. You can catch every pitch on our sister station, 710 Seattle Sports. And a fast-growing racket sport is making its way to the Pacific Northwest. The Puget Sound Business Journal reports a company called Jam Paddle is opening a pop-up with 3 outdoor courts in Bellevue. The pop-up runs June through September right next to Meta's campus. After that, Jam Paddle plans to open a permanent 25,000-square-foot location in Ballard. Jam Paddle, you ask? If you're not familiar, paddle is a doubles-focused sport often described as tennis meets squash. It's played on courts enclosed by glass walls. It's 5:13, time for a check on traffic, and Chris Sullivan joins me. Good morning.
Good morning, Amanda. We're off to a very good start on this Tuesday morning. No action really out there at all. Just as we heard from our reporter, John Rep, watch out for some potential road closures or things right around 5 to... It's basically, this is right by the Maltby Road, Highway 524, and basically 527. Right there by the Fred Meyer and the Safeway there in the Bothell area. For people coming down from Mill Creek, you're going to drive by it if you're going to 405. So just watch for some road closures, potentially, or some hiccups.
Lights.
Yes, lots of stuff going on there. So that's a major commuter route for our folks coming down out of Mill Creek to get to 405. But the freeways themselves are in very good shape. Olympia to Tacoma is only 30 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle is only 35. 35 as well from Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue is 15. Lake bridges are quiet coming down out of the north end. No issues on 5 or 405. 35-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Our forecast looks like we'll stay mostly cloudy for today. Might see a few sun breaks, but you might also see a few sprinkles. 65 today. On Wednesday, we'll warm up to 68 with a mix of clouds and sun. Mostly sunny still for Thursday and Friday with highs into the mid-70s. Right now in Seattle, partly cloudy, 53 degrees. And coming up, petroleum analyst Patrick DeHaan breaks down the latest spike in gas prices. You're listening to Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
The John Curley Show.
I have a 1941 Dodge at the front of the house. And
there's a nest in there.
Wasps. Big nest.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I got 2 cans of wasp spray. I put them both on the seat, and I get a .22 rifle. Poof! Giant, cloud of fire and poison, which it did work. It seemed like something that Matt Damon, what's those movies he was in? Born Identity, a Born Identity thing.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
If you're over 62 and feel squeezed by rising monthly bills, listen carefully. I'm Steve Teitler, owner of Best Mortgage. Every week I talk with seniors who love their home, want to stay in it, but feel more financial pressure every month. Property taxes are adding up. Insurance is up. Everyday bills are up, and for some, they still have a mortgage payment on top of all of that. Are you worried about outliving your savings? A reverse mortgage could help by eliminating your mortgage payment, paying off debt, and giving you breathing room every month. Now, let me be clear, it's not right for everyone. But for the right person, it can be a powerful tool. When you call Best Mortgage for a free consultation, you'll talk directly with me. I'll explain your options and tell you honestly if it makes sense for your situation. If you're 62 or older and want straight answers about staying in your home with less financial stress, call me today, 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage. Honest advice you can trust. 425-649-6000.
Hey, it's John Curley with my friend Bob Stelton. And Bob, just like me, you had a hip problem. You were recommended surgery. Why did you go see Dr. Wagner first?
I was walking around at about an 8 pain level. I couldn't walk that far before the pain would kick in, and it was impacting my workouts and just really impacting my day-to-day stuff.
So you had stem cell on your hip. How does it feel now?
I can do a lot of things I could not do prior to this procedure, and I feel like I've gotten back to being who I was prior to the injuries, which was somebody who's very active, loves being out there outside when the weather's great, being on the motorcycle, sparring in jiu-jitsu, working out. I can do all of those things now. And I've had friends that have gone to see Dr. Wagner. They had the same experience, whether they were dealing with a hip, a knee, an elbow, a shoulder. Everybody walking out of there feels like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Before you choose surgery, do what Bob and I did. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner first. drmarkwagnermd.com. drmarkwagnermd.com.
Seattle's Morning News. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
Oil prices are on their way up again, and stocks down a bit as risks of re-escalation in the war with Iran intensify.
Let's check in once again with Patrick DeHaan. He's the head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy. Patrick, what's the word this morning on oil prices?
I already read it in your voice there. Not looking forward to the update this morning. Oil prices did shoot up overnight, but now we've swung back the other way. WTI crude oil actually down about $1.30 a barrel. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense in light of the escalations with President Trump still under a lot of pressure to reopen the strait with his inflammatory weekend tweet suggesting that Iran should open it now before what may be left of the country. So oil prices down this morning. Again, doesn't make a whole lot of sense with these escalations happening. I do believe the national average, which dropped in the last week a whopping penny, may start to heat back up depending on what oil does. But as you might expect in my tone, it's certainly getting very hard to read these markets going down, oil going down the same day there's new escalation. So we still sit here, and Seattle dropped a little bit as well over the last week. Average prices down about a nickel to $5.90 a gallon. As I mentioned, I think most Americans are probably going to see gas prices going up this week ahead of Memorial Day with last week's bigger jump in the price of oil.
And here we are. Memorial Day is in front of us. We have the whole summer travel season ahead. That is traditionally when we do see gas prices increase, right, Patrick?
Well, typically prices usually, if it's a normal year, peak in April or May, coinciding with refinery maintenance and the changeover to summer gasoline. Usually by late May, around Memorial Day, refineries have completely ramped up. The output is cranked up. We did see that in last week's numbers. Refinery utilization, which is a number analysts look at very carefully, jumped almost 2 percentage points, meaning that refineries are ramping up. Usually gas prices slowly decline over the course of the summer as that supply builds up. But this year, obviously with the Strait of Hormuz situation, we may continue to see prices advancing in the weeks ahead as long as the strait is closed.
Any indication of how these record gas prices are affecting people's travel plans for the holiday?
Well, Americans have very robust summer travel plans, and I don't know that high gas prices are going to erode that, at least for Memorial Day, July 4, and Labor Day. Government data is pointing to a small 4-week average decline in implied gasoline consumption. So I think it's having a low-level effect, but for Memorial Day, you might not see that show up in the numbers. A lot of Americans want to kickstart the summer and are probably not going to be held back much by gas prices. But as we get into the month of June, that's kind of a sluggish month for demand. We may see that demand destruction materializing more in the month of June, especially if prices keep going up.
Patrick, one thing that you have been following, especially over the weekend on your X account, is motor oil. What do we know about this?
Yeah, a lot of the base stocks for special types of motor oils that are produced by manufacturers, keep in mind, manufacturers don't produce the motor oil that may bear their name. So companies like Toyota, Nissan, also now larger parts distributors like AutoZone have been warning that there may be some of these motor oil types that are going to be harder to find. Now, their price are going to be impacted, and it's really especially those manufacturer-specific oils in which there are additives. The base stocks are harder to get. A lot of the base stocks for these motor oils does come, especially from the Middle East, Qatar specifically. And obviously with the strait being blocked, it's now starting to have a ripple effect on not only motor oils, but just about anything that would flow through the strait. And so you're seeing pricing and availability issues with some of these base stocks.
Great. Another thing to worry about. Thank you.
If there's anything else, I'm sure there will be new things in the weeks ahead. For now, obviously highlighting the continued pressure as we see cascading impacts from the strait remaining closed.
How hard is it to predict what's going to happen here? One would have thought that prices would have been way up with these latest pronouncements from the president. What does this do for an analyst?
Well, I mean, you look at the numbers, and as I mentioned, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that with significant escalations that oil prices are going down. I think I have to question the integrity of the market. We've seen many reports of major trades before major movements. I don't know if there's anything nefarious going on, but it seems like there's some irrational market moves that don't make sense. That is oil going down today. I'm surprised oil prices aren't higher, given the fact that, this has now been ongoing for 78 days. It may appear that there's some outside forces here at work.
That's Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy. It's 524. Our forecast for today, it's going to stay mostly cloudy. We'll see a few sprinkles of a possibility. 65 for the high, but then improving weather starting tomorrow. Mix of sun and clouds. 68 by Thursday, mostly sunny, mid-70s. Friday looks the same. Saturday still dry, just a few clouds rolling in and into the low 70s. Right now in Seattle, we have partly cloudy skies. It's 53 degrees. And coming up, Crime and Punishment, our weekly check-in with Casey McNerney at the King County Prosecutor's Office. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Nick, what's a great thing about going to Longevity Medical Clinic as a couple?
Oh, I absolutely do. When they tell you to do something, you actually do it.
Right. And the same thing with you. When they tell you to do it, because for some reason, when I tell you to do it, you're like, whoa.
I just walk away and roll my eyes.
Exactly. But the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic, the doctors there know, because we do the blood draw and they look and they can see, they know, they hold us accountable.
Yeah, when I'm under pressure and I know I'm coming in, I know I have to work the program.
Right. Plus, we also want to hold each other accountable for how we take care of ourselves because, we want to have a long, healthy, happy life.
I know. I want every day to torture you as long as I possibly can.
Well, I look forward to it. Here's the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic. They're working with you. They're holding you accountable because they want you to have a long, healthy, happy life. I was a patient at Longevity long before I started doing these commercials. So get your free health analysis. Go to lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. You know, Dave, I love sport. You love sport. And I love sitting with coaches and hearing their game plan each and every week. What are the keys to a First Mark Insurance game plan?
It's a great question, Brock. I think there's really 3 keys to a great game plan with us. Number 1 is we want to make sure that our clients have the correct coverage for their unique specific needs. So that's number 1. Do you have the right coverage? Number 2, once we have the right coverage, are we getting that coverage at the most competitive price possible? And then last and not least would be once we have the right coverage at the most competitive price, are we providing world-class service to those customers so that when they need it, they have someone there that's got their back.
Those are the 3 keys to a First Mark Challenge victory. And man, am I so glad Molly and I took the challenge. We are one of so many through a decade plus of being a First Mark Challenge victory. You can too. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
CarsForKids.org. That's Cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Hey,
Hey, I want to tell you a sellwithwes.com success story. Wes Jones knows how important your home sale can be for your future plans. So when he got a call from Susan in Federal Way, he was eager to step up and help her sell her home of 25 years.
Her house was her biggest asset, and this home sale was super meaningful for her. So she's like, I know that I'm leaving money on the table in the condition that it's in. Like, what can we do?
I told him up front that I did not have the time or finances to do what needed to be done. And he immediately jumped in with, well, I do.
He told her about their Listing Boost concierge service.
And we identified probably 4 or 5 major things.
It just was all so fast. They did everything.
I'm a son of a builder, and I've done a lot of flips over the years. So this is work that we actually like to do. We are seeking this out.
And I would just tell anybody, here's his phone number, give him a call. He'll take care of it.
So if you're in the market to sell your home, do what Susan did. Check out Wes Jones and his team at sellwithwes.com. Sell with Wes, a better way to sell your home.
It's Staples' 40th anniversary, and they've got deals worth celebrating. Now through May 23rd, enjoy up to 50% off. Save on paper, chairs, custom print, balloons, and more. Staples, that was easy.
If your home is 20 years old or more, it might be time to have your roof inspected. Your roof is your home's first line of defense, and at Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we'll help it last as long as possible. Our trained and licensed crew will evaluate your roof, repairing when we can, and offering replacement options only when necessary. Plus, every new install comes protected with a full year of free maintenance on us. Visit GuardianRoofing.com today.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning. It's 5:31. Developing news this morning from Bothell, where Snohomish County deputies are on scene of an officer-involved shooting at a convenience store. KIRO News Radio's John Repp is there and joins us live.
Amanda, this is in the Thrasher's Corner neighborhood. It's a 7-Eleven right by the sports bar as you approach Maltby Road and 208 Street Southeast on Bothell Everett Highway. Police are here after this reported officer-involved shooting. And in front of the store, there's not a lot that is visible other than the police tape, which is very visible. You can't cross there, obviously. But when you go to the back of the store, there are a lot of officers that are here, evidence teams that are working to process the scene. So this is still a very active scene as far as making sure that the detectives are able to process it and get everything that they need from it. We still have a lot of open questions about when the shooting happened, what led up to it, all of the basic things that you would want to know as far as who else may be involved in the condition of the person shot. We are told that a spokesperson from the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office is on the way to the scene, and we hope to get you more information as we have it. Reporting live in Bothell, John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
Thank you, John. Staying in Bothell, hundreds of Bothell high school students walked out of class yesterday to protest losing their school resource officer. The Seattle Times reports the North Troy School District's board voted last week to end the contract, citing concerns about equitable policing. The decision has sparked major pushback. An online petition to reverse it has nearly 4,000 signatures. More than 300 students rallied in support of Officer Garrett Ware. He's been at the school since 2017. The man accused of stealing a Washington State Patrol SUV Christmas Day has once again been found incompetent to stand trial. 24-year-old Alexander Smith was previously ruled incompetent in January. A judge has now ordered another 90 days of restoration treatment. Investigators say troopers were trying to coax Smith off I-5 near Northgate when he ran into traffic, allegedly knocking down a lieutenant and driving off in her patrol car.
Here, please, bro. Get off the road. Please, bro. Please, bro.
He was eventually stopped near Alderwood Mall and taken into custody. And the company behind the AI chatbot Claude is looking to grow in Seattle. The Puget Sound Business Journal reports Anthropic is negotiating a 120,000 square foot lease in South Lake Union, where it already has some offices. Sources say the San Francisco-based startup wants more space at Dexter Yard. The deal would put Anthropic in the heart of Seattle's most tech-heavy neighborhood, just blocks from Apple, Google, and Amazon. 5:33, time once again for a check on traffic. Anything happening, Sully?
Not really.
Good.
It's a pretty good day to start so far. Let's try to keep it going. We've got a little bit of volume building here and there in a couple places, but if you're going up the Valley Freeway, you might see some braking out of Auburn and a little bit at the north end, but we're under 40 minutes to run from Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue is a little slowing at the top of the S-curves, but still about 16 minutes to make that drive to Bellevue. Olympia to Tacoma, all green on the map, freeway speed, and then you've got about a 35-minute trip from Federal Way to Seattle, just a little bit of action around the Kent Kent Des Moines Road. Coming down from the north end, no problems yet. We're about 15 minutes away from when we start seeing things bog down. 35 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
You might see a few sprinkles today. We're going to stay mostly cloudy, but a few sun breaks a possibility too. 65. For tomorrow, look for some clouds and some sunshine and 68. Drying out again. Mostly sunny Thursday and Friday with highs in the mid-70s. Right now in Seattle, we have partly cloudy skies. It's 53.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
On Mondays, we check in with Casey McNerney from the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office for a crime and punishment segment. Casey, thanks for being here today. Of course, there were some awful homicides last week. We had the man at the Growler Guys. We also have the 19-year-old in the U District, and those obviously generated a lot of headlines. But those weren't the only ones, and you wanted to bring attention to a couple of the other cases. So what has happened in both these cases?
Well, there were two more on Tuesday, one in Bellevue and one in Kent, that were both murder-suicide cases. Incredibly tragic, certainly for the families involved. It's really difficult on the first responders, too. But what is interesting about that is the Regional Domestic Violence Task Force was meeting that same day to talk about what do we do about people who don't have a criminal record, no involvement with law enforcement other than the first act is a extreme act of violence. And as they were meeting, trying to talk about this of how do we address this, that's when the first of the two happened in Bellevue. And then later that night, there was the middle-aged man who killed his father in Kent. It's just so tragic, and it was really eerie timing. Here's David Martin, who's the chair of our domestic violence unit, explaining what they're seeing.
We are seeing a troubling rise in domestic violence-related violent deaths, especially in South King County, including intimate partner homicides, family homicides, murder-suicides. And kind of what stands out to a lot of us is that many of these cases, almost all of them, had kind of little legal system involvement before the violence escalated. And so we have domestic violence, violent death appears to be like moving in the opposite direction of violent crime trends. And we know domestic violence is often hidden and isolating and escalating behind closed doors until it reaches a crisis point.
So crisis point and not necessarily any indicators something so extreme could happen. So what can people do?
That's exactly what I asked Leticia Figueroa, who's our director of victim services. Here's what she wanted to share with folks.
If someone is concerned about a friend, family member, or a neighbor, one of the most important things that they can do is connect with a community agency. The DV Hope Line is one of those great resources that our community has access to, and they can just reach out to 206-737-0242. The other resource that might be helpful too, if a family member is showing any suicidal ideation, 988 is another incredible resource for not just the person that is exhibiting these concerns, but for family members to be able to call in and share a little bit about what's happening or what they are seeing. And 988 has someone that has been trained to be able to help a family member navigate these types of situations.
So navigating these situations, but what about the legal options?
That's a good question. There's also that option too. Here's Leticia with a little more on that.
When it comes to a legal option, one of the tools that is available is a protection order. And we do have our protection order portal that can be accessed online, but also you can call our protection order advocacy program to connect with an advocate. And our phone number for the protection order advocacy program is just 206-477-1103. And they can answer questions for you or guide you to the correct place for you to be able to get started. But this could also be a great tool that our community has access to.
So when I hear this, it sounds like there are different avenues and different resources. That's also a lot of phone numbers. Is it something we can Google, call 988? What's the best course of action?
Yeah, 988 is a great one. You can also Google the protection order portal for the King County Prosecutor's Office. It's the first result. If you're driving in your car, and there probably are people who are listening to this right now and think, I'm kind of worried about my cousin or my in-law or this friend of mine who just seems kind of off a little bit. Make that call today. Make it before noon, because it's so easy to say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. And if you're like me, you'll probably put it off for a few weeks. I mean, not on this topic, but for anything, it's so easy to say, hey, I'll do it later, and then weeks or months go by. So do it now while you're thinking about it, if you can.
Casey McNerney, the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Casey, thanks for your time this morning.
It was good to see you, Charlie.
It's 5:40. National headlines next here on KIRO News Radio.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
The ones who get it done. Brought to you by Granger. A Virginia teacher is going the extra mile for her students. Kate Fletcher recently ran more than 100 miles to raise money for student scholarships. Fletcher says she runs out of love for her students and has raised nearly $12,000 so far. For the ones who get it done, Granger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by.
Thinking about starting weight loss treatment? GoodRx is here to help. We offer FDA-approved GLP-1 medications prescribed by licensed providers, including the Wegovy tablet, with straightforward pricing and pickup at your local pharmacy or delivery to your door. All from America's #1 prescription app. Go to GoodRx.com/weight loss to get started. GoodRx is not insurance. Cancel anytime. #1 prescription app ranked by a third-party study.
Download the KIRO News Radio app, where you can watch us live or stream us live anywhere, anytime.
How would this initiative, whatever this initiative is, how would he fund it?
Stay connected everywhere. Download the KIRO News Radio app.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon?
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
CBS News Brief. The WHO is now calling that Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo an epidemic. At least 130 dead, more than 500 infected, including at least one American, as CBS's Skylar Henry tells us.
Dr. Peter Stafford was serving in the DRC as a missionary doctor for a religious charity when he tested positive for Ebola. He will now undergo treatment in Germany.
That shooting that left 3 men dead at an Islamic center in San Diego is being investigated as a hate crime. Mayor Todd Gloria.
Hate has no home in San Diego. Islamophobia has no home in San Diego.
The 2 teenage suspects were later found dead. And that fast-moving wildfire still raging in Simi Valley, California. First responders telling thousands to get out.
Fire forced employees of the Reagan Library to evacuate while animal shelters opened their doors and residents rushed to move horses out of harm's way.
CBS's Matt Gutman. CBS News Brief. I'm Vicki Barker.
Our forecast. Not too bad. You might see a few sprinkles here and there today. 65 our expected high, maybe some sun breaks too. Tomorrow, look for a mix of sun and clouds. 68. Thursday and Friday look terrific. Mostly sunny, warming to the mid-70s. Saturday, still nice, partly sunny and 71. The holiday weekend, looks like we might see some showers for Sunday and Monday. Back down to the 60s, low 60s by Monday. Right now in Seattle, we have partly cloudy skies, 53 degrees. Coming up, New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold will join the show live to break down some of the big national headlines of the week, including how President Trump is getting nearly $2 billion from the Justice Department to give to his political allies. David will explain next on Seattle's Morning News.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family is banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Why is K2 Vision RLE a permanent solution to glasses, contacts, and readers? How is it that you'll never develop a cataract after K2 Vision RLE? And how is RLE different from LASIK?
Hey, it's Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. We'll answer those questions and others when you join us for our free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Andy, what are some of the other questions you hear?
Well, how long is the procedure and recovery? Or who's a good candidate for RLE?
And we'll also answer, how much does RLE cost? Is there financing available? Does insurance pay for RLE?
Find out how K2 Vision RLE is the permanent solution to glasses, contacts, and readers.
And cataracts too.
Right, no more cataracts.
K2 Vision's free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Space will be limited, so register now at k2visionrle.com.
Join us at our free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Sign up at k2visionrle.com.
I'm sure by now you've heard interviews with a whole lot of people who took the First Mark Challenge and saved so much money on their insurance and got better coverage. We call them First Mark victories. Well, I too took the First Mark Challenge and am thrilled to say that First Mark is saving my family thousands. Now that's what I call a victory. Before we got married, my husband had been with the same agent for so long, I think we just assumed that they were working hard to get us the best coverage and save us money. But it wasn't the case. And we only knew that by taking the First Mark Challenge. First Mark works for you, not the insurance carriers. First Mark will fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage, which could leave you at risk for financial loss. Then they carefully search the market, dozens of major carriers to find you the best fit. And that's it. First Mark Insurance has helped thousands of families successfully manage the complicated world of insurance and save them thousands, my family included. Be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Take the First Mark Challenge now. It's free. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance, they work for you.
Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
It's 5:48. Thanks for being with us here on Seattle's Morning News, along with Charlie Harger. I'm Manda Factor.
And every Tuesday morning, we speak with New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold for the big stories of the week.
So, David, yesterday, the Justice Department announced the creation of a $1.776 billion fund to compensate President Trump's allies who claim they were unfairly targeted by the previous administration. Can you break this down for us?
Yeah, the sort of pretext for this was that President Trump sued his own government, sued the IRS for releasing his tax returns. Or they didn't release them, or for employing a contractor that released them to journalists. He sued them for $10 billion. That lawsuit was settled, even though a lot of people questioned whether Trump could even sue his own government, whether that was even possible. And so now what this is basically is a way around the legislative process. They would never have gotten Congress, which is supposed to be appropriating government money. They would never have gotten Congress, even this Congress, to approve a $1.76 billion slush fund for basically pay Trump's allies and friends, whatever Trump wants. But in this way, by suing the government and settling, Trump thinks that he has unlocked this thing called the settlement fund, which is basically like an uncapped pool of taxpayer money the Treasury Department or the Justice Department has at its disposal to pay people who sue the government and win or sue the government and settle. So it's basically a way to create a giant slush fund for Trump's allies that doesn't need Congress's permission or oversight.
We're talking over $1 billion here, David.
Almost two.
Yeah, I did a little back of the napkin math. For everybody that pays taxes in this country, we're going to be paying $11. How unusual is something like this?
It's extremely unusual. And yes, you're right. There's no sort of hidden pool of money. This is taxpayer money. This is money that could have been spent on literally anything else the government does, the military, spending in Washington, bridges, roads, whatever. And yes, it also, if you think about the universe of people we're talking about, it's people like Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, this prominent Trump allies, as well as the thousands of people who were convicted of crimes related to January 6th. So, that's not a huge pool of people. It's a few thousand people at most, I think. We're talking about $1.76 billion. It's a lot of money for all those people. So, yes, it's a way for Trump to basically just hand out cash to people who support him. And it's your cash and mine.
David, are we talking like the guy with the horns who was in the Chamber of Commerce? Are we talking about people who smeared feces on the floor of the Capitol?
Well, they haven't identified the individual people who are going to receive it yet. There's going to be a 5-person board set up by basically Trump. But yes, that's the category of people that I think this is meant for. January 6th.
$1.776 billion going to them.
Yeah, for people like that. Exactly right.
I was just about to ask you what's been the reaction so far. I know what Charlie's is.
Well, I think that even in Washington, even among Republicans, there would have been no appetite to appropriate this kind of money from people on Capitol Hill. But you're talking about, the Justice Department thinks they found a way around this. And the people who run the Justice Department, especially Todd Blanche, who's the acting attorney general, they want to keep their jobs. They're doing what they can to make Trump happy. That's why they're trying to prosecute Trump's enemies. That's why they're setting this up. This is all done by people in Washington who work for Trump who want to keep their jobs.
How do I make myself eligible for this $1.776 billion that apparently only the president controls and Congress has no authority over it?
I mean, I think, unfortunately, you would have had to been prosecuted by the Biden administration. That's at least what this is designed
What
for.
What if I feel like I was prosecuted?
Honestly, I do wonder what kind of cases will come up like that. Like, there are people who were there's evidence they were charged in a court of doing something. Other people that you're talking about, what if I, wanted to do something and I wasn't allowed to by the Biden administration? What if I wanted to graze my cattle on some piece of federal land and they wouldn't let me? Do I qualify for that? That'll be an interesting question to see what kind of sort of non-legal, less tangible injuries get paid out from this.
Is this real life? $1.776 billion just handed away. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any mechanism to undo this?
Well, I mean, I think we will see people file lawsuits trying to stop it. And it does seem like it is to my untrained legal mind, it does seem like it is a way around the clear constitutional delegation of spending authority to Congress. The question is, though, who can prove an injury? Or to get into court and try to stop this, you have to prove you were injured by it. And typically the courts have not been willing to say, yes, you're injured because you're a taxpayer and your tax money is being misspent. Maybe people in Congress will try to sue. There's lots of ways of trying to block this, but it will take a long time, even if it works.
Yes, Charlie, this is real life.
Okay, thank you, Manda, for that affirmation.
It's Tuesday, the 19th of May.
You agree with that? Is that factual, David?
It is real life. That's right.
Okay. Real quick, we have the actually very serious situation with Iran. We have conflicting stories about some sort of peace deal. What do we understand about this, David?
Well, what we've been seeing for the last few weeks, so there's obviously a ceasefire in place that leaves Iran effectively in control of the Strait of Hormuz. It means that, oil prices are going up. Oil tankers are not getting through. President Trump has shown himself totally unwilling to start the bombing again. I mean, I think that's what he's been threatening, but he's backed down from it so many times that I don't think it's really a credible threat anymore. And also, I'm not really sure what more bombing would accomplish. The U.S. has shown itself unwilling to commit ground troops, and there's not a lot of appetite for the renewed military push that it would take to dislodge Iran from its control of the Strait of Hormuz. So I think you are going to see some kind of peace deal that leaves Iran in a pretty strong position. But I think what Trump's goal now is is just to get the economy going again. And frankly, he wants to get onto Cuba. I think he thinks, some sort of military action or embargo against Cuba will be a more safe bet. I think he's backing away from this adventure in Iran that didn't go well. So I do imagine there'll be some kind of peace deal that will get gas prices going down again eventually.
All right, David, we always have something to talk about, don't we? We appreciate your time.
Yes.
New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold.
5:54 now, and taking a look at the forecast, we are expecting to have warm conditions today, mid-upper 60s. Overnight lows will be in the 40s. Right now downtown, it's 50.
Thanks for being with us on this Tuesday morning. Again, the 19th of May.
It is real life.
Yes, it is. KIRO Newsradio's John Rep is live in Bothell this morning, where an officer-involved shooting happened late last night.
And at 6:15, Sully has a choke point. We could see the max tolls along 405 and Highway 167 going up again. Sully will have details.
You're listening to Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Renton police investigating a shooting that happened just after midnight.
Engaging conversation.
It's just indefensible. The mayor's communications team should be better.
Traffic.
A full closure now, southbound 509 at Alexander Avenue.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO News Radio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
$83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise. There's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day for baseball.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. Case in point, your ticket might be for the view level, but it's more like Skyline City. Up here, it's hard to say what'll take your breath away first. The gorgeous Seattle sunsets or the spectacular views of every incredible play. If you like value with a view, it's the perfect place to take quality time with the family to a whole new level. Literally.
A bases clearing, 3-run double. Everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Josh Naylor is making his Mariners bobblehead debut this week. The two-day giveaway wraps up tonight at 6:40 with the first 10,000 fans scoring this must-have collectible thanks to Western Washington Toyota dealers. Plus, it's a value game, so you can score seats for less than $12. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
The John Curley Show.
I have a 1941 Dodge at the front of the house. And
there's a nest in there.
Wasps. Big nest.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I got 2 cans of wasp spray. I put them both on the seat, and I get a .22 rifle. Poof! Giant, cloud of fire and poison, which it did work. That seemed like something that Matt Damon, what's those movies he was in? Born Identity, a Born Identity thing.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Sometimes injuries can happen when you least expect them.
What broke my shoulder was reaching for my phone. I was trying to get the phone away from my cat.
That's how Heather tore her rotator cuff.
There was that hope. I was like, maybe this will heal on its own. And I waited a little bit, and it was not getting better.
She just couldn't take the pain anymore, so she saw Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
By the next day, my shoulder was already doing better. I have my arm back again, which was just just wonderful.
Seems like she made the right choice.
I'm so glad I didn't do surgery.
So whether it's a hip like mine or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. He's the most experienced in the Northwest with over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
I said to him at our last appointment, I was like, you better not retire because I want to know if anything else goes wrong with my body. You're there to be able to fix it because he's a miracle worker.
The action is fierce, the energy is over the top, and it's a night you don't want to miss. It's Excite Fight Live MMA at Muckleshoot Casino Resort on Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m. See a full night of incredible combat when MMA fighters face off in the cage and turn the excitement all the way up. Get your tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com.
Best Mortgage is proud to be the longest-running mortgage company on KIRO Radio. For 34 years, they've been giving honest advice you can trust as your VA loan and reverse mortgage experts and debt consolidation specialists, too. Just web search Best Mortgage.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Vicki Barker. The State Department urges Americans not to travel to the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, or Uganda as a deadly Ebola outbreak is upgraded to an epidemic. Dr. Ann Ancia is the WHO's representative in the DRC.
The way that we're going to have to work to be able to decrease and stop the transmission of this virus is working very closely with the local population to make sure that, they have the right behavior. For example, if they feel the symptoms of the disease, they need to come directly to get treated.
More than 130 dead so far, 500 infected, including at least one American. In Southern California, aircraft dropping thousands of gallons of water on the Simi Valley fire northwest of L.A. Some 16,000 residents ordered to evacuate. The fire fueled by tinder dry conditions. Similar conditions building up from the Gulf Coast all the way up through the nation's northeast. Here's meteorologist Craig Allen.
This is going to produce temperatures well up in the 90s to near 100. It's quite possible that we'll have 2 or 3 days worth of 90s to near 100 degrees and a heat index between 95 and 100 at least through Wednesday.
Primaries in Pennsylvania today will set the stage for 4 key House races this November. CBS's Torian Small is in Allentown.
Though he faces no opposition in his primary, tonight could be the first true test of the strength of Governor Josh Shapiro's coattails. While he's staring down a potential matchup against Republican presumptive nominee Stacey Garrity in November, he's endorsing a few candidates in key House races in his state.
Good news for New York area commuters. The Long Island Railroad strike appears to be over.
The railroad and its unions have not released details of the deal, which workers still have to vote on. But New York Governor Kathy Hochul made this pledge.
We'll not be raising taxes to cover the cost of an increase for the workers, and we're not going to raise fares to make the accommodations either.
It will take until this afternoon to get LIRR trains rolling again, making for another nightmarish commute for many.
It cost me $100 in the Uber to get to Queens, and now I got to ride a 2-hour bus.
I left at 7:30 and I punched in at 11:23.
Michael Wallace, CBS News, New York.
Pregnant women are bombarded with ads for supplements set to support their own and their baby's health. CBS's Michael George reports on one that works.
Taking vitamin D3 while pregnant could boost cognitive function in children. That's according to a study published in JAMA that found women who took high-dose vitamin D3 while pregnant had children who scored higher on memory and cognition tests at the age of 10.
But researchers warn pregnant women should always consult their doctors first. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here?
How is this possible?
Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
Bothell police have shot someone. We are headed live to the scene after we check traffic with Sully.
Not too bad, Charlie, as we start this Tuesday morning. Brake lights where they should be. Not too bad. We've got travel times plus or minus where they should be as well. If you're coming up from the south end, only 35 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma, and then Federal Way to Seattle's a matching 35. 35 is what we have up the valley. Not quite seeing a 40-minute trip there yet, though they are building volumes right around the Highway 18 interchange and at the north end. We have Renton to Bellevue at about 15 minutes. There was a little crash in the southbound direction as you made your way down into the Renton S-curves. That appears to have cleared. Out of the north end, not too bad at all. We're enjoying a pretty good day there. So 35 to 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio App. Listen to your favorite shows. Get the latest news and updates sent right to your phone.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 6:04, and we start the day with a developing story.
We're learning some new information from police after an officer shot someone in Bothell early this morning. KIRO News Radio's John Repp is on the scene and joins us live.
Yes, Amanda, Charlie, this is the 7-Eleven here at Thrasher's Corner. It remains blocked off by yellow police tape, and evidence teams are still active after an officer opened fire at this convenience store early this morning. Here's what happened. Just after midnight, a Bothell police officer saw a vehicle make an illegal U-turn right here on Bothell-Everett Highway, pulled into the 7-Eleven, made a traffic stop, and when the officer was walking up to the vehicle, the driver opened the door and bailed, fled, ran away. Multiple people were in the car. The officer saw the passenger in the car move over to the driver's seat and pointed a gun at the officer. At that point, according to investigators, the officer opened fire. The car rammed the police cruiser several times and then sped away. So later, a couple of hours later in Burien, a 24-year-old male showed up at the hospital with a gunshot wound. He was taken to Harborview Medical Center, where he is now in stable condition. So police later also recovered the suspect vehicle and are processing that. So you have a very active police investigation right now. 3 scenes where officers are present right here at the 7-Eleven, at Harborview, at the Burien address where the car was recovered, and they are still piecing together additional information. Still no sign of the driver, and the good news from all of this is the officer was not hurt in all of this, but expect investigators to be here for at least another couple of hours. Live in Bothell, John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
A 31-year-old Bellevue man is now charged with first-degree murder in the stabbing death of 19-year-old student at the University of Washington.
Charging documents allege Christopher Leahy stabbed Juniper Blessing more than 40 times last Sunday. We get more from KIRO 7 TV's Gary Horker.
He's now accused of stabbing Blessing to death in the laundry room of Nordheim Court Apartments. That's near the UW campus. Now, Juniper Blessing's family released a statement in response to the court documents filed, saying in part this, quote, "Today and every day we remain focused on our Juniper, whose loving spirit has no bounds. Juniper was a beautiful human being with a heart full of love, tolerance, talent, determination, and intellectual curiosity that was a light in our world and to the world at large."
Leahy's being held on $10 million bail, due back in court on Thursday.
Meantime, the Covington man accused of staging a fake home invasion, then killing his wife earlier this month, pleaded not guilty to a first-degree murder charge. KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas reports 41-year-old Kyle Cathcart appeared before a judge yesterday.
Documents obtained by KIRO 7 say he called 911 to say someone broke into his home and stabbed both him and his wife. But police say his story didn't add up, and he actually killed her. He was on the run for a couple of days before police arrested him. The judge setting his bail at $60 million. His trial is set to start in July.
Students at Bothell High School walked out of class yesterday to protest the North Shore School Board's vote to eliminate the School Resource Officer program. The board voted 4-1 last week to remove Officer Garrett Ware from campus, saying some students may feel uncomfortable with police in schools. Senior Lucas Sidowski tells KIRO 7 TV.
Officer Ware is not just an SRO in a uniform and a blank face. He is a part of our community. He is a part of what Bothell is.
Student leaders say they want the board to reconsider, and they are pushing for a revote.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Busy morning. Thanks for being here with us on this Tuesday, May 19th.
Tuesday, May 19th, you say.
We've made it to another day.
He's Charlie Harger. I'm Manda Factor. Chris Sullivan is here, keeping an eye on traffic every 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was a lovely afternoon yesterday. That's one of the perks of working the morning shift is I got to go home and hang out on my patio, read a book.
Not read a book.
I know. It's such indulgence. It's so nice having teenagers now.
They want nothing to do with you.
Self-sufficient. Yeah. Well, this hour of Seattle's Morning News is sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
All right, so Lee, what's coming up in your choke point today?
Who doesn't love tolls?
Me.
Okay.
Me.
Who loves tolls?
Toll House cookies.
Oh, good. Good. There. Yeah, we're going to find out today just how much they might be raising tolls or want to raise tolls on 405 and 167 to help pay for the road improvements there. So we're going to go over the status of the tolling system in our state coming up here in a few minutes.
All right, pay up. 6:09 here on Seattle's Morning News. Starbucks has filed a warn notice with Washington State confirming 252 corporate employees at the Seattle Support Center will be laid off starting July 17th.
The cuts only affect corporate roles, not baristas or store staff. The move follows recent reports that Starbucks is restructuring nationwide and eliminating hundreds of corporate positions as sales soften and the company looks to reduce costs.
An Auburn police officer arrested in an online child exploitation investigation is now out of custody. The 42-year-old posted $100,000 bail over the weekend, was released Sunday. Pierce County Sheriff's Deputy Carly Capetto says he's accused of felony immoral communication with a minor after contacting an undercover detective.
When we get predators that essentially bite on these, that's on them.
He's due back in court June 2nd.
The man accused of stealing a Washington State Patrol SUV on Christmas Day has again been found incompetent to stand trial. 24-year-old Alexander Smith was previously ruled incompetent in January. A judge has now ordered another 90 days, that is, of restoration treatment. Investigators say troopers were trying to coax Smith off I-5 near Northgate when he ran into traffic, allegedly knocked down a lieutenant, and drove off in her patrol vehicle.
Here, please, bro. Get off the road. Please, bro. Please.
He was eventually stopped near Alderwood Mall and taken into custody.
14 cars were left with shattered windows at an apartment complex near Pacific Lutheran University in Parkland early Saturday morning. Many of the victims are students. KIRO Newsradio's James Lynch reports it was all caught on camera.
In the video, a white sedan can be seen pulling into the Garfield Station apartments around 3 a.m. 4 people get out, 2 acting as lookouts, while the other 2 smashed windows and rifled through cars. Here's Pierce County Deputy Carly Capetto.
They're causing significant amount of damage to people's vehicles, and it needs to stop.
You can see the video at mynorthwest.com. If you recognize the suspects or their vehicle, call 911. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Pierce County Sheriff's deputies say an attempted gas theft in Spanaway left behind a damaged tank and several containers filled with stolen fuel.
I was going to take my girlfriend home, and then I came out, heard it, saw someone trying to jog away.
Oh.
Late Sunday night, a deputy responded to the 4500 block of 225th Street Court East, where someone had punched a hole directly into a vehicle's gas tank. Deputies say gas theft like this can cost victims thousands of dollars in repairs. They're urging drivers to park in garages, fenced areas, or well-lit spots with cameras to help deter thieves.
Well, the Mariners got back on track yesterday. A dominant victory over the Chicago White Sox 6-1. Julio Rodriguez stayed hot, launching his 8th home run of the season into the stands.
Here's the pitch on the way. Swinging a fly ball deep into the gap in right center field. Going, and this one is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Holy smokes.
And producer David, there is kind of a big home run in this game as well.
That's right. Yeah, Colt Emerson, the rookie for the Mariners, got his first hit, and his first hit was a home run, and that added some much needed.
Did you see his family going wild?
It was really cool to see. And they weren't there for his first game on Sunday, so it was nice to see them there for his first hit and his first home run.
Ironically, too, it was hit in right field, and the last guy to have his first hit be a home run was the guy in right field for the White Sox, Jared Kelenic.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Yeah. So Jared Kelenic, then Colt Emerson. They did the same thing.
That is a fun little fact. Thank you. The first pitch tonight is 6:40. Bryce Miller pitching for the Mariners. You can hear it on 710 Seattle Sports.
It's 6:12. That's time for a check on the forecast. And for that, we bring in KIRO 7 TV's Nick Allard. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. A lot of cloud cover this morning, although we're really not that wet. We just have some areas with a little bit of moisture around Snohomish County. That's probably your best bet to see a few showers this morning. And throughout the day, it'd be like a stray sprinkle, a stray shower here and there with, for sure, though, cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. You might get lucky and work out a few sunbreaks this afternoon, but that's the best I got for you. Otherwise, it's going to be cloudy and we'll be in the mid-60s, say about 65 or so. Now, from here, tomorrow, I think you're going to find definitely a cloudy morning, a little bit of sun midday, and then some high clouds for the afternoon. Temps will be in the 60s. I think on Thursday, it's cloudy to start, and then in the mid to late afternoon, we see sunshine. We'll get into the 70s, so upper 60s, low 70s after today. It looks beautiful on Friday. It looks beautiful on Saturday. And all you'll see Sunday is increasing clouds in the upper 60s and lower 70s. And then overnight, or at least late Sunday into Monday, some rain will push through, and that gives us at least a few showers for Monday. So most of your Memorial Day weekend is dry, but during the day, Monday, a few showers. Your best bet for rain would actually be late Sunday into early Monday, so while you're sleeping. So if you're camping, you got to prepare for some rain, but may not have to deal with much of it while you're out, which is pretty nice.
Bust out the tarp.
There you go.
I believe it's Memorial Day weekend coming up already.
I know. I made some calls.
Thank you.
Sure.
It's partly cloudy, 53 in Seattle right now.
Time to check traffic every 10 minutes with Chris Sullivan.
I know Nick, he called Ghostbusters. I'm not sure who else he has on speed dial. We're building our volumes out there. Our travel times are going up. We're up over 40 minutes now to go from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, with the brake lights materializing right where they should be. For 405, it's through Canyon Park. For I-5, it's from about 130th down through Northgate. Northbound I-5, not bad at all, from Olympia up through Tacoma into Federal Way, but then Federal Way is a little slow. We're also seeing some north end braking, a little over 40 minutes already from Federal Way to Seattle. About 40 now from Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue is not quite 20 minutes. Lake bridges are still in very good shape. And for those of you coming down from the north end, we're talking down from Bellingham, trying to work your way into Burlington. North of Burlington, we have a crash that's been blocking the right lane near Bothell. So we got about a 2-mile backup up there, and it's sticking around. So I'll be watching that one closely, even though it's a little out of our primary commuting area. This report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Don't miss 8 fireworks nights this season, presented by T-Mobile. First show, May 29th. Get your tickets, mariners.com/fireworks. I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
Well, the max toll rates on I-405 and Highway 167 went up to $15 2 years ago. But even that increase isn't going far enough.
Oh, no. A state agency is talking about raising the tolls again. This will happen at a hearing later today, and Sully is here to tell us all about it.
And it is our good friends down at the Washington State Transportation Commission. They're having their monthly meeting, and tolling is on the docket in a lot of different ways. The biggest one is going over some potential increases. The max tolls on these two roads went up from $10 to $15 in March of 2024. In the year that followed, fiscal year 2025, tolls generated nearly $40 million on those two corridors, a nearly $10 million increase over the previous year. The number of toll transactions, though, stayed about the same, which tells you one thing. Increasing the price increases the bottom line. Now, I poke fun at Washington State Transportation Commission Chair Debbie Young for saying this about the max tolls before those increases went into effect.
It's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
But in reality, the tolls on I-405 have hit that $15 max about 80% of the time during the morning commutes ever since. Now, that's not those, there's the statistics. Those are mine, based on every morning that I'm in here, and I play that soundbite, and I watch them go to $15. Now, they don't stay at $15 very long. I mean, the average toll price that people pay on that corridor is less than that, but certainly we hit the max routinely. Of course, the biggest culprit in all of that is that southbound 405 segment from Linwood down into Bothell, which only has the one toll lane. That's why WashDOT is working so hard to add a second toll lane in that area. That's what all that construction's about. The northbound SR 167 toll doesn't hit that max very often, but the new Flex Pass rules only went into effect earlier this year, so I'm expecting that to change a little bit. So what's the Transportation Commission considering today? Raising the max tolls on 405 and 167 definitely on the table. Raising them to $18 was discussed last year, though that was shelved. It could be that number, likely that number, or maybe even more. The state needs this corridor to generate $1.5 billion in revenue over time. That's not going to come with $15 at a max. The agency could also increase the HOV requirements to 3+ all the time, or expand the peak hours where 3+ is necessary to be free. That would mean more people who would used to be in there for free would have to pay that max or pay a toll just to be in there. It could also expand tolling on the weekends. Right now, 405 is free. 167 is not. Commission considering these changes as WashDOT finishes work on expanding 405 between Bellevue and Renton. It's building a 2-lane express toll lane system there to match the one between Bellevue and Bothell. That work was supposed to finish last year, but it's been delayed by 18 months. The lanes should open sometime next summer. State's looking for consistency along that entire corridor from what will eventually be Linwood down to Sumner. So has the congestion pricing been working on 405 and 167? The data that they're going to be discussing today and is going to be released today saying no. Close. Probably closer than it's ever been, but no. Because the goal here is for the toll lanes to run at 45 miles an hour 90% of the time in peak hours. On 405, it's 83%. On 167, it's 76%. So they're getting better, but in order to get to that magic number, they're going to have to raise tolls.
So my question is, you've heard chatter over the years that they make all the freeways toll, not just the HOV lanes. What is the status of something like that?
Well, that is still on a white paper and still on the drawing board in the 2050 plan to toll everything. We're talking 90, we're talking I-5. Now, those two things would require approval from the federal government, because in order to toll those, the money that was given to them to build those originally were for HOV lanes, for free access to HOV. To change that rule, they would have to get approval. So there's some hoops there, but that's something that they want to do. Make no mistake about it. And again, the congestion pricing model has become en vogue. We all remember the old days. I mean, Charlie, let's go. Well, Mandy, you're down there too. Remember, the Astoria Megler Bridge. That's always the story I tell about. It goes across the Columbia River. At one point, it might still be the longest span over open water in the world. At what, 4.5 miles. Mm-hmm. Well, there was a toll on it. Well, when they paid off construction, the toll went away. And in fact, just now they're about to tear down the last little remaining bits of the toll booth there on the Oregon side of that bridge. Tolls used to pay for things, then they'd go away. Now it's about pricing people out of lanes in order to provide bus service, better access, or HOV access, better, faster trips. And so that's become, that's why, kind of the nexus of what we've seen in New York with the cordon pricing and what they've talked about here in Seattle of making you have to pay to get into the downtown core. Thank gosh that hasn't happened yet, but it's still on the drawing board. That's the way things have come to find ways to get more money out of us to pay for roads, since we're getting less and less dollars from the federal government on this, and we don't have a passion for spending money on the things appropriately in this state. So we have to squeeze the turnip a little bit.
Why does $18 seem like so much more than 15? Just because it's closer to 20, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, I haven't checked the latest toll number. Think about the Beltway in D.C. Their max was over 30.
Yeah.
I think it was $34 last time I checked, and that's been a while, so that it may have changed ever since. It's basically what you can afford or what you can, what you can handle. But right now, that this is what they're looking at, and we'll see how the discussion goes. This is just the initial on this. It's not an action item today, but I mean, you can expect it to happen by the time these are in place next year.
Now, here's the important question: how do we signify when it gets to 18, if it gets to 18, do we bring back the kazoo? This is a thing texters are asking.
Okay, probably. No, I don't know. Or maybe a cha-ching, because that's really probably appropriate for what it is. So yeah, it's it's our reality, and that's money, and it's going to come from somewhere, and that's us.
Fun.
Yay.
Time to take off the choke point hat, okay? That is off.
Okay.
And now put on the traffic reporter hat because we have some busy roads this morning.
Yes, we do. In fact, we've got a couple of different issues to talk about. We do have a new crash to tell you about on southbound 405, right at the I-5 interchange there in Tukwila, kind of right by the mall. So I'm not sure which lane it's in because this one just popped up, but we're seeing brake lights now from 167 over to I-5. So plan on a couple of extra minutes there. Going the other direction, the primary commuting route, we have rented to Bellevue of at about 20. Northbound 167 is slow from 180th on up, and we've got slowing down in Auburn. So overall, we're getting close to 45 minutes already. That's kind of early for that travel time from Puyallup to Renton. Better way to Seattle, about 42 minutes at this point. Lake bridges are still fine. About 45 minutes as well from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue as we see the brake lights materializing there in the usual locations. And we've got about a 2.5 mile backup for those of you coming down from Bellingham trying to work your way into Burlington or spots south. Right there by the Bow Hill, the rest area there. Yeah. We've been working with a crash in the right lane for several hours now, and they're still working on it. So plan on about a 10 or 12 minute delay through that part of our corridor. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio App. Listen to your favorite shows. Get the latest news and updates sent right to your phone.
Clouds and sun breaks today, high in the mid-60s. Overnight, low right around 50. Downtown right now, it's 53.
And coming up, KIRO News Radio's John Rebb is in Bothell this morning, the site of an officer-involved shooting. He'll bring us the latest. Also, we'll get to your opening bell report here on Seattle's Morning News.
Word for Closets by Design. So much less clutter in my house thanks to Closets by Design. We had them install a wall bed and desk. And what that has done is made our spare bedroom navigable. We can go in there, sit down at the desk. My wife and I kind of share this home office setup, get our work done. And when we have company over, which is in a couple weeks, we're able to just take the wall bed down and suddenly it becomes a bedroom again. So much more efficient, so much space. Closets by Design not only does that, they do laundry rooms, entertainment centers, mud rooms, everything. All of it is custom built in Kent. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. So go to closetbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get your project started today.
The G and Ursula Show.
Prices in the Seattle area jumped nearly 5% in April.
Weekdays 9 to noon.
Well above the national inflation rate of 3.8%. So, in other words, we're paying more than much of the rest of America is right now.
It feels like a treadmill that continues to get faster and faster and faster. But somebody keeps speeding it up and increasing the incline.
G and Ursula. Watch live or later on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
The NBA playoffs are underway, and now you can trade every game on Kalshi. You can also trade on who wins each series, the conference finals, and the championship. San Antonio is currently trading at 19% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out over $500 if they take the title. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. No house, no odds makers. And as odds move, you can buy in or out anytime throughout the postseason. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code SHOT to get $10 when you trade $10. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. but it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466, 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Hey, John, why don't you tell everybody why you started going to Longevity Medical Clinic?
No, I don't want to do that. I can tell you, I started going to Longevity Medical Clinic before I started doing these commercials, but why I went is not important.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Okay. I'll tell you. I was a Sammamish City Council member, and whenever they had asked me to do the Pledge of Allegiance, I couldn't make it through the whole thing without crying. I know, it's so dumb. I mean, I know I'm patriotic, but what the heck? So I go into Longevity Medical Clinic, and I explained this to them, that there's something wrong with my hormones or something, and they see the testosterone and the estrogen are all out of balance. We balance all that stuff, and I can do the Pledge of Allegiance without crying. But I've also noticed that I deal with stress a lot better, don't I?
Yes, you're a lot easier to live with because you're getting more sleep, you have more energy, you're better organized, and I'm not helping you look for your car keys every morning.
Right, because now I've taken the steps to take care of my mind and body. I strongly recommend anybody get the free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at Cars4Kids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's Cars with a K.
Are you looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, ranging from the low 500s to the high 1 millions, D.R. Horton has the right home at the best value for you. Your new home is within reach, so what are you waiting for? Learn more about the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. Visit drhorton.com and schedule a tour today. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 6:30. We continue following a developing story this morning. One man in the hospital after police opened fire during a confrontation in Bothell early this morning.
And KIRO News Radio's John Repp is on the scene. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Charlie. Manda, I'm at the 7-Eleven at the Thrasher's Corner right on Bothell Everett Highway. This happened just after midnight when a Bothell police officer saw a vehicle make an illegal U-turn. Snohomish County Public Information Officer Courtney O'Keefe says the officer followed the vehicle into the 7-Eleven, pulled up behind it. She says the door opened, and as the officer approached the vehicle, the driver fled.
And John, we don't have that audio cut, so could you describe what she had to say?
Yeah, absolutely. The officer approached the vehicle, and then the passenger actually moved over into the driver's seat and displayed a gun at the officer. And that's when the officer opened fire, firing several times, and then there was chaos right after that. The vehicle just rammed the patrol car and sped off. The officer was not hurt, thankfully, but police, as you can imagine, just had a huge response at this 7-Eleven here. And police say that this 24-year-old male later, about an hour later, was dropped off at a Burien hospital with a gunshot wound. They believe that is connected to this investigation. So he's stable at Harborview with a gunshot wound, and investigators also later recovered that vehicle, but still at large, Charlie and Manda, the other passengers in the car, and of course, the driver. We're live in Bothell. John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
6:32 now. Students at Bothell High School walked out of class yesterday to protest the North Shore School Board's decision to eliminate the School Resource Officer program. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss.
From campus to City Hall, students chanted and held signs in support of Officer Ware and the SRO program.
We just want to make sure that the board, we're not something that they can just ignore and push under the rug.
Students, members of the community.
The school board's 4-1 vote to cut the SRO program was not a budget issue, rather part of an annual review, with some on the board saying some students may feel uncomfortable with an officer on campus. But many students and families tell us they aren't buying it.
That's Jason Sloss reporting.
Washington has a new state Supreme Court justice. The Washington State Standard reports Theo Angeles was formally sworn in yesterday at the Temple of Justice in Olympia. Governor Bob Ferguson appointed him to the role in March. Angeles has actually been on the court for about 6 weeks already, but the ceremony made it official. Ferguson called him a brilliant legal mind and the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. He replaces retired Justice Barbara Madsen, who had been on the court since 1993. She was the first woman elected to Washington's Supreme Court.
6:33, time for traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
And we've got a significant issue right at the 405 I-5 interchange in the South Center Tukwila area. Southbound 405, we have the right lane blocked for a crash, and the emergency response is blocking most of that lane to get off to northbound I-5. So we're seeing a backup that's extending to 167 in the corridor. So plan on at least a 10-minute delay through that area as they try to work with this. Again, it's southbound 405 approaching I-5 in the South Center Tukwila area. Going the other direction, the primary commuting route, we're looking at a Renton to Bellevue drive of about 25 minutes. Now, northbound 167 is really getting caught up in this because not only do we have people slowing to go to northbound 405, which is the primary commuting route, but on that ramp now to southbound, you're driving right into that backup. So we're definitely seeing a lot more action there at the north end than you're used to. Give yourself 25 minutes already and closer to 50 to run from Puyallup to Renton. So we're at least a 10-minute delay total in that corridor. Then Federal Way to Seattle's about 45. Not bad. Lake bridges are fine. 45 to 50 minutes now from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. Olympia to Tacoma's no problems for you guys. And a little bit more information for what's going on up in the Bow Hill area on southbound I-5. This is a truck that went into the ditch like a semi, and it's on its side. So the right lane is blocked. They've got a couple of big cranes in there. It looks like to maybe try to get this thing righted. The cranes on the back of the Class C tow trucks. So plan on about a 2.5 mile backup as you're trying to go southbound out of Bellingham into Burlington at this point. This report brought to you by Bucky's Complete Auto Care. For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repairs earned local trust with honest pricing, guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Bucky's.com.
Our forecast, we're going to stay mostly cloudy for today. You might see a few sprinkles here and there. You might also see a few sun breaks. Just kind of a mixed bag. 65 today. Tomorrow, look for some clouds and sunshine, and 68. Thursday and Friday, we're going to warm up to the mid-70s. Mostly sunny both Thursday and Friday. Partly sunny on Saturday. Right now in Seattle, it is cloudy and 53.
6:35 now, time for the opening bell report. A warning from President Trump about possible strikes on Iran had raised fresh concerns about the fragile ceasefire. He has since walked back those comments. Still, the uncertainty is sending oil prices swinging. News Nation's Margaret Chadbourne reports.
AAA expects a record 45 million people will travel 50 miles or more between Thursday and Memorial Day. This as the national average for a gallon of regular gas now stands at $4.51, according to the organization. Before the war with Iran, the national average was just $2.98, a surge of more than 50% in under 3 months. Iran's grip on the Strait of Hormuz is keeping global oil supplies tight. About 20% of the world's oil flows through the key shipping route.
A humanitarian aid ship is docked off Cuba's coast as tensions ramp up between the U.S. and the island country since the U.S. blockade of oil shipments after the capture of former Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. News Nation's Marky Martin has more.
Axios report citing U.S. intelligence sources says Cuba has obtained more than 300 military drones from Russia and Iran, with possible targets including Guantanamo Bay and Key West, Florida, just 90 miles from Havana. The Trump administration continues to ramp up pressure on the island, announcing new sanctions this week as Cuba faces severe fuel shortages.
Cuba's president is warning any U.S. military action against his country could spark what he calls a bloodbath.
The Justice Department says President Trump has reached a settlement in his lawsuit over the leak of his tax returns. The agreement includes the creation of a nearly $1.8 billion fund aimed at compensating people who claim they were targeted by what the administration calls lawfare. CBS News Justice Department reporter Jake Rosen explains the details of the settlement.
The Justice Department said that Mr. Trump and the other plaintiffs in the suit, 2 of his sons and the Trump Organization, will receive a formal apology, but, quote, no monetary payment or damages of any kind. Instead, a $1.776 billion anti-weaponization fund, paid for by taxpayer funds in the Treasury, will be created at Blanche's direction to, quote, provide a systematic process to hear and redress claims of others who suffered weaponization and lawfare.
A fast-growing racket sport is making its way to the Pacific Northwest. The Puget Sound Business Journal reports a company called Jam Paddle is opening a pop-up with 3 outdoor courts in Bellevue. The pop-up runs June through September right next to Meta's campus. After that, Jam Paddle plans to open a permanent 25,000-square-foot location in Ballard. Paddle, you ask? If you're not familiar, paddle is a doubles-focused sport, often described as tennis meets squash, played on courts enclosed by glass walls.
Isn't that racquetball?
There are a lot of comparisons to be made.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to do an in-depth investigation 1 week long, maybe on a beach. Company behind the AI chatbot Claude is looking to grow in Seattle. Puget Sound Business Journal reports Anthropic is negotiating a 120,000-square-foot lease in South Lake Union, where it already has offices. Sources say the San Francisco-based startup wants more space at Dexter Yard, a mixed-use development that opened in 2023. The deal would put Anthropic in the heart of Seattle's most tech-heavy neighborhood, just blocks from Apple, Google, and Amazon.
A major milestone for the Gates Foundation. It has now sold all remaining Microsoft stock. GeekWire reports the foundation once held tens of millions of shares, but its latest filing shows a complete exit. The shift reflects a broader strategy to diversify into sectors like consumer goods, energy, and global development. Bill Gates personally still owns Microsoft shares.
And as trading opens on Wall Street, Microsoft is up a point today. Costco is ahead by 4.5. The major indexes, let's look at them. 341 down on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That's 0.7%. S&P 500 has lost 27. That's 0.36%. And the NASDAQ is off by 88 points, 0.34%.
It starts on your street, in your home, with a problem you're struggling to solve. That's where KIRO 7 Investigates comes in. They show up, they ask hard questions, they get you answers. When your story is seen, change isn't just possible, it's already happening. Watch KIRO 7 News weeknights 5 to 6:30 p.m. and at KIRO7.com/investigates.
Okay, Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
We're going to take a look at the crash on southbound 405 right at I-5 and South Center. We'll break it down next.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more.
24% of businesses are now thinking about leaving Washington.
Traffic.
We are definitely seeing some slowing through the S-curves.
Conversation.
We build it, we produce it, we charge for it.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
A one-hander! Are you kidding me?
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Hey, I want to tell you a sellwithwes.com success story. Wes Jones knows how important your home sale can be for your future plans. So when he got a call from Susan in Federal Way, he was eager to step up and help her sell her home of 25 years.
Her house was her biggest asset, and this home sale was super meaningful for her. So she's like, I know that I'm leaving money on the table in the condition that it's in. Like, what can we do?
I told him up front that I did not have the time or finances to do what needed to be done. And he immediately jumped in with, well, I do.
He told her about their Listing Boost concierge service.
We identified probably 4 or 5 major things.
It just was all so fast. They did everything.
I'm a son of a builder, and I've done a lot of flips over the years. So this is work that we actually like to do. We are seeking this out.
And I would just tell anybody, here's his phone number, give him a call. He'll take care of it.
So if you're in the market to sell your home, do what Susan did. Check out Wes Jones and his team at sellwithwes.com. Sell with Wes, a better way to sell your home.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
In the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Summer's a busy time for most businesses, and WaFd Bank is here to help you keep up. WaFd Bank has you covered with free business checking, business credit cards, credit lines, and other services to move your business forward. WaFd also offers payment processing, so customers can pay through a kiosk, a mobile app, or online for seamless transactions. And with so many options, WaFd Bank is quickly becoming an SBA preferred lender of choice, so you'll find the perfect fit to meet your goals. WaFd Bank, built for business. Visit wafdbank.com. Member FDIC. Loan subject to credit approval.
It's 6:43. Traffic on the 3s now with Chris Sullivan.
And we have cleared the crash on southbound 405 right at I-5 in the South Center Tukwila area. It's still over on the right-hand shoulder, but no longer blocking the right lane, and access to northbound I-5 is restored. So we still have about a 10-minute delay getting through the Renton area and over to I-5, but that should be getting better. And then Renton to Bellevue, to go in the other direction, we do have about a 25-minute trip for you guys. It is very heavy on northbound 167 approaching 405 because not only are people pulling into that ramp to go northbound, but they're trying to get into the ramp to go southbound, and that's right where the delay was, and so we're seeing a few extra minutes there. Give yourself about 25 to 28 minutes out of Auburn and over 50 all the way from the Puyallup area. A little slowing on eastbound 512 down the South Hill, a little westbound 410 through Sumner, nothing unusual. Federal Way to Seattle's about 45 minutes. We're over 50 from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Brake lights very heavy in the usual suspect locations coming down out of the Linwood core. Coming down a little bit further to the north, we're still dealing with the right lane being blocked for this semi in the ditch as you get past Bothell. So if you're heading into Burlington, plan on at least about an extra 10 minutes. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Considering the new Lennox cooling system before summer, get a price estimate on your phone in 60 seconds from Home Comfort Alliance, homecomfortalliance.com.
We're going to stay mostly cloudy, maybe a few sprinkles here and there today. If you're lucky, you'll see a sunbreak or two, 65 the high. But tomorrow, mix of clouds and sun, drying out, 68 Thursday and Friday into the mid-70s with lots of sunshine. So far, Saturday looks nice, but for your holiday weekend, we'll likely see some showers on Sunday and Monday as well. Right now, it's cloudy and 53 in Seattle.
Coming up, New York Times investigative reporter David Fahrenthold breaks down why the Trump administration will be receiving nearly $2 billion from the Justice Department for the president's political allies. That's on the way on Seattle's Morning News.
If you're wearing glasses or contacts, but you need reading glasses or bifocals now, you need to join Drs. Kopstein and King for the K2 Vision RLE live webinar this Thursday at noon to learn about refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE. This free webinar is a perfect opportunity to meet the doctors and have them answer all your questions about K2 Vision RLE. Questions like, how much does RLE cost? Is financing available? Does insurance pay for RLE? These questions and lots more will be covered this Thursday at noon during the K2 Vision RLE free live webinar. K2 Vision surgeons have performed over 150,000 procedures. They know when RLE is right for you. K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers. Plus, no more cataracts. Don't miss the free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Register at K2VisionRLE.com. K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Digging in my yard, trying to lay a pipe. I hit a water line and now I have to pay a big fine.
How does your roof look after this winter? Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Spring into action today. Save $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest. Muckleshoot.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Every Tuesday morning, we speak with New York Times investigative reporter David Fahrenthold for the big stories of the week.
So, David, yesterday, the Justice Department announced the creation of a $1.776 billion fund to compensate President Trump's allies who claim they were unfairly targeted by the previous administration. Can you break this down for us?
Yeah, the sort of pretext for this was that President Trump sued his own government, sued the IRS for releasing his tax returns. Or they didn't release them, or for employing a contractor that released them to journalists. They sued them for $10 billion. That lawsuit was settled, even though a lot of people questioned whether Trump could even sue his own government, whether that was even possible. And so now what this is basically is a way around the legislative process. They would never have gotten Congress, which is supposed to be appropriating government money. They would never have gotten Congress, even this Congress, to approve a $1.76 billion slush fund for basically pay Trump's allies and friends whatever Trump wants. But in this way, by suing the government and settling, Trump thinks that he has unlocked this thing called the settlement fund, which is basically like an uncapped pool of taxpayer money the Treasury Department or the Justice Department has at its disposal to pay people who sue the government and win or sue the government and settle. So it's basically a way to create a giant slush fund for Trump's allies that doesn't need Congress's permission or oversight.
We're talking over $1 billion here, David.
Almost two.
Yeah, I did a little back of the napkin math for everybody that pays taxes in this country. We're going to be paying $11. How unusual is something like this?
It's extremely unusual. And yes, you're right. There's no sort of hidden pool of money. This is taxpayer money. This is money that could have been spent on literally anything else the government does, the military, spending in Washington, bridges, roads, whatever. And yes, it also, if you think about the universe of people we're talking about, it's people like Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, this prominent Trump allies, as well as the thousands of people who were convicted of crimes related to January 6th. So, that's not a huge pool of people. It's a few thousand people at most, I think. We're talking about $1.76 billion. It's a lot of money for all those people. So, yes, it's a way for Trump to basically just hand out cash to people who support him. And it's your cash and mine.
David, are we talking like the guy with the horns who was in the Chamber of Commerce? Are we talking about people who smeared feces on the floor of the Capitol?
Well, they haven't identified the individual people who are going to receive it yet. There's going to be a 5-person board set up by basically Trump. But yes, that's the category of people that I think this is meant for. January 6th.
$1.776 billion going to them.
Yeah, for people like that. Exactly right.
I was just about to ask you what's been the reaction so far. I know what Charlie's is.
Well, I think that even in Washington, even among Republicans, there would have been no appetite to appropriate this kind of money from people on Capitol Hill. But you're talking about, the Justice Department thinks they found a way around this. And the people who run the Justice Department, especially Todd Blanche, who's the acting attorney general, they want to keep their jobs. They're doing what they can to make Trump happy. That's why they're trying to prosecute Trump's enemies. That's why they're setting this up. This is all done by people in Washington who work for Trump who want to keep their jobs.
How do I make myself eligible for this $1.776 billion that apparently only the president controls and Congress has no authority over it?
I mean, I think, unfortunately, you would have had to been prosecuted by the Biden administration. That's at least what this is designed
What
for.
if I felt like I was? What if I feel like I was prosecuted?
Honestly, I do wonder what kind of cases will come up like that. Like, there are people who were, like, there's evidence. They were charged in a court of doing something. Other people that you're talking about, what if I, wanted to do something and I wasn't allowed to by the Biden administration? What if I wanted to graze my cattle on some piece of federal land and they wouldn't let me? Do I qualify for that? That'll be an interesting question to see what kind of sort of non-legal, less tangible injuries get paid out from this.
Is this real life? $1.776 billion just handed away. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any mechanism to undo this?
Well, I mean, I think we will see people file lawsuits trying to stop it. And it does seem like it is to my untrained legal mind, it does seem like it is a way around the clear constitutional delegation of spending authority to Congress. The question is, though, who can prove an injury? Or to get into court and try to stop this, you have to prove you were injured by it. And typically the courts have not been willing to say, yes, you're injured because you're a taxpayer and your tax money is being misspent. And maybe people in Congress will try to sue. There's lots of ways of trying to block this, but it will take a long time, even if it works.
$1.776 billion.
You get the significance of the number there.
I get it. It's so clever. I got to figure out how to prove I was injured by this, though, because that's some sweet, sweet cash.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. That's for sure.
Uh-huh. Sure will be interesting.
Well, Google is kicking off its annual developer conference today, where the company is expected to unveil new products and major updates focused on artificial intelligence. CEO Sundar Pichai is set to deliver the keynote address. Tech contributor Ian Scher explains what to watch for.
This is a critical moment for Google, and not just because there's so much competition for AI, but also because this is the time that it gets attention from software and hardware developers around the world. They all are paying attention to see how Google is going to improve its AIs and make them easier to integrate into various different apps and devices and websites.
6:53 now. We check in with Chris Sullivan for traffic on the threes.
And we're seeing some improvement, Charlie, on that drive through South Center on southbound 405, approaching the I-5 corridor there out of Renton. We've had the right lane blocked for a little bit. It's been clear for a while, but there still is the action there. The state trooper and the cars are over on the right shoulder, so we're losing just a little bit of time. What's really impacted by this is the northbound 167 corridor, driving into that ramp to go to southbound 405, because you're kind of driving right into what lane was closed. So give that a little bit more time to clear out. We're definitely running 30 minutes out of Auburn and over 50 all the way from the Puyallup area. Going the other direction, Renton to Bellevue is a half an hour today. We're up over 50 from Federal Way to Seattle, so that's about average for this time of day. We're seeing some really early braking on westbound and eastbound I-90 right at 405 in the Factoria area, so keep that in mind. But the lake bridges themselves are fine. Coming down from the north end, hour and 5-minute trip from Everett to Bellevue, about an hour from Everett to Seattle. A little early for that, but again, plus or minus what you might have expected. Olympia to Tacoma's no problems. And up to the north, we're still dealing with the right lane being blocked of southbound I-5 at Bothell Road. That's as you're working your way down into out of Bellingham into Burlington. So a lot of B words there today. I'm trying to work with multi-syllables as well. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial, 97.3 HD2.
Did Sully use the B word?
Yes, he did, but not that one. Might say a few
What
sprinkles.
did I say? That was like 10 seconds ago. I can't remember.
Long time ago. Few sprinkles of possibility. 65 for today. Will dry out tomorrow. It's 53 in Seattle right now.
We'll have more of the day's top local headlines on the way. You're listening to Seattle's Morning News right here on KIRO News Radio.
The John Curley Show.
I have a 1941 Dodge at the front of the house. And
there's a nest in there.
Wasps. Big nest.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I got 2 cans of wasp spray. I put them both on the seat, and I get a .22 rifle. Poof! Giant, cloud of fire and poison, which it did work. That seemed like something that Matt Damon, what's those movies he was in? Born Identity, a Born Identity thing.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, start treatment at Revive Washington and get a free comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, and more. Take control of your health today. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, when was the last time you inspected your crawl space or your attic? What's the last time you went in there just to see what kind of shape they're in? Oh, never? Yeah, same. I don't want to go in there. Most homeowners completely avoid those areas, but it is important to check on them regularly. It's why you call Crawl Pros. They'll come out and go where you don't want to. Hey, it's Mike Salk here. And yes, when Crawl Pros came out to my place, they realized we had a little problem with our insulation. So they've set about fixing it, and they did a great job. But if you've got the same problem, they'll also look to see what kind of energy rebates are available. Right now, local utility companies are incentivizing homeowners to make their home more energy efficient with proper insulation. And some homes qualify for several $1,000s in savings with these utility rebate programs. So don't just assume your crawl space and attic are in great condition. Do what I did. Call Crawl Pros today and schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection and find out if you've got water intrusion, mold, rodent issues, or even damaged insulation. Schedule your crawl space and attic inspection at crawlpros.com.
Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, why did you make the call to First Mark Insurance?
My company has grown to a space where we need a higher level of coverage. A couple of factors led me to say, boy, I really need to find something new. And First Mark really rang that bell.
First Mark save you and your business money?
Oh, yeah. They have decreased overall expense in a couple categories by up to 30%, coverage in a couple of areas by greater than 50%. They've offered coverage in 2 new categories that I think are pertinent for my business, and they've greatly impacted what that coverage and those margins look like.
Kind of wish you made the call earlier.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
G. Scott here. Safeway wants you to know SunBucks gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically. Others need to apply. Find out if you should apply at freesummermeals.org.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Vicki Barker. The working theory after yesterday's fatal shooting of 3 men at San Diego's largest mosque, it was a potential hate crime. CBS's Anna Schechter has more.
Investigators are looking at things they found in the vehicle, etchings that could be on weapons. They're already combing through electronic devices. So there's a reason why they are calling this a potential hate crime.
The 2 teen suspects were later found dead. The mother of one had warned police he was suicidal and armed and had run off with her car. Firefighters continue to battle a massive, fast-moving wildfire northwest of Los Angeles. And now CBS's Matt Gutman says a second, even bigger fire is burning 50 miles west in the Channel Islands National Park.
Both fires were fueled by the same strong wind system, which caused the Sandy Fire in Simi Valley to swell from just a few acres to more than 1,300 acres in just a few hours, destroying several buildings and forcing tens of thousands of people to evacuate.
The World Health Organization has upgraded the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo to an epidemic. More than 130 people dead, at least 500 confirmed cases, including one American. And WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus warns
these numbers will change as field operations are scaling up, including strengthening surveillance, contact tracing, and laboratory testing.
The State Department's urging Americans to avoid the region. It's primary day in multiple states, and one Republican congressman, Thomas Massie of Kentucky, is vowing he will be reelected despite losing President Trump's support. CBS's Ed O'Keefe is in Covington, Kentucky.
In a sign of how much the White House wants Massie gone, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth traveled to northern Kentucky Monday to support the congressman's challenger, former Navy SEAL Ed Gallrein.
The Colorado Supreme Court has ordered a hospital to restart care for transgender minors.
The 5-2 ruling was a victory for 4 families who sued Children's Hospital Colorado after it stopped providing hormone therapy and puberty blockers. The hospital feared the Trump administration would cut off its funding. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
These procedures hurt, not help children.
The court said the suspension of care left patients abandoned during a precarious time, with 2 of them contemplating suicide. The hospital says it is assessing its next steps. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Now, call it fate or providence, but something was looking out for Keisha Smith when she went to Arkansas's Crater of Diamonds State Park to get over the loss of her son and father. She picked up a pebble, turned out to be a 3-carat white diamond. This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
7:03 now. We check traffic on the 3s. Here's Chris Sullivan.
All right, we're starting this hour, Charlie, in pretty good shape. Travel times are about what you would expect, which means they're heavy. Tuesday, if not our heaviest day of the week, certainly by far in the top 2. Only one crash. It's up far up north, and I'll get to that in a minute. But right now, our travel times away from Linwood, you're going to have about 50 minutes from Linwood down into Bellevue and about 35 from Linwood down into Seattle. So we look like a pretty typical day there. Coming up from the north-south end, Olympia to Tacoma, no problems. Tacoma itself is fine, a little breaking up to 18. And then Federal Way to Seattle's about 50 minutes, maybe a little under, depending on how you hit the volume. 50 minutes now from Puyallup up to Renton. We are very heavy at the far north end part of that drive. That's because of an earlier crash we had on southbound 405 over towards I-5. We're still kind of cleaning ourselves up from that. And then Renton to Bellevue, we might have a new crash near the landing. We just kind of went a little quicker, all stopped there. Over 30 minutes to make it up into Bellevue at this point. Lake bridges are fine. Now to the one active crash, which is up north. If you're trying to come down from the Bellingham area, work your way down south. Before you get to Burlington at Bothell Road, the right lane remains closed. Semi on its side went into the ditch. Long-term recovery underway. This report brought to you by Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. You can learn more at globalcu.org.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 7:04. We continue to follow a developing story this morning.
One man is in the hospital. Bothell police are looking for several suspects after an armed confrontation and officer-involved shooting early this morning.
And KIRO News Radio's John Rabb joins us live from the scene. John?
Charlie, I'm at the 7-Eleven on Bothell Everett Highway at Thrasher's Corner. This all started here just after midnight when police saw a vehicle make an illegal U-turn and then go into the convenience store parking lot here. The officer followed, and that's when several things happened at once, starting with the driver opening the door and running away.
At that same time, a passenger hopped into the driver's seat, and as the Bothell PD officer was approaching, a firearm was displayed by one of the passengers and pointed at the Bothell police officer. The Bothell police officer fired multiple rounds towards the vehicle.
Snohomish County Public Information Officer Courtney O'Keefe says the police car was rammed several times. They later recovered the suspect vehicle in Burien, and a 19-year-old with a gunshot wound was dropped off at a Burien hospital. He is in stable condition at Harborview, believed to be connected with this incident. The officer was unhurt. Live in Bothell, John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
7:05 now. A former University of Washington student from Bellevue now charged with first-degree murder for fatally stabbing 19-year-old Juniper Blessing more than 40 times May 10th. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
The murder charge against 31-year-old Christopher Leahy comes with a deadly weapons enhancement. Casey McNerney with the King County Prosecutor's Office says that means a longer sentence if convicted.
If convicted as charged, the defendant would face between 20 and a third and 28.6 years.
Prosecutors say the attack was totally random. In fact, it is alleged Leahy was stalking another student when he came across Juniper Blessing and refocused his attention on her. Bail remains at $10 million. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
The man accused of stealing a state patrol vehicle on Christmas Day has again been found incompetent to stand trial. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay reports he was already found incompetent in January.
A judge has ordered another 90 days of competency restoration for 24-year-old Alexander Smith. Body cam video shows state troopers spending several minutes trying to coax him off of I-5 near Seattle's Northgate neighborhood before he bolted into traffic, allegedly threw a lieutenant to the pavement and sped away in her patrol SUV.
No!
Police eventually tracked him down and forced him to a stop near Alderwood Mall and took him into custody. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Another round of corporate cuts hitting Starbucks employees in Seattle. A new warn notice shows 252 Seattle-based support center employees will lose their jobs beginning July 17th. The company has cited rising costs and weaker than expected sales. Retail store workers are not part of the layoffs.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
It's 7:08. Glad to have you with us on this Tuesday. It's May 19th. Just kind of want to kick back and listen to Bachman and friends there.
Okay, maybe take care of a little business.
I'd like to work at nothing all day. Wait a minute, I kind of do. As jobs go, I'm not digging ditches, actually.
Yeah.
This is pretty good.
We're just yapping all morning long.
That's pretty good, actually.
That's Chris Sullivan over there, Manda Factor as well. Producer David Burbank with us in the studio, and Nick Frasia running the board. Nick, how does that feel every time you get that sort of reaction from your host? Is that the best?
Oh, yeah. I love it when you like the choices I make.
Yeah.
Sometimes I throw you off with little, gosh, what was it, Danzig you guys couldn't get?
Yeah.
That was funny. I like that. But I like it when you get it.
7:09 on Seattle's Morning News. A busy hour in front of us. We're going to check in live with retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton as the war in Iran maintains its fragile ceasefire.
And what's coming up in the 7:35 commentary.
So why is the safety of students at Bothell High School being ignored? Apparently in the name of equity. I'll elaborate on that coming up here on Seattle's Morning News.
It's now 7:09. An Auburn officer accused of trying to communicate sexually with a minor in an online sting is no longer in jail. Pierce County Sheriff's Deputy Carly Capetto says the 42-year-old was arrested Friday after allegedly reaching out to a detective posing as a child.
This is our detectives doing proactive work.
He's out on $100,000 bail, due back in court June 2nd.
We also checked in with Deputy Capetto on this story, where 14 cars, 14 shattered windows, and deputies say most of the victims are students. This happened just after 3 a.m. Saturday at the Garfield Station Apartments near Pacific Lutheran University. Was caught on surveillance video. 4 men can be seen getting out of a white sedan and immediately breaking into cars.
If you think about it, 14 vehicles times, let's say each window was $200, and that's probably on the low scale. That's a lot of money.
You can see the video at mynorthwest.com. You're asked to call 911 if you recognize the suspects or their vehicle.
We're hearing from the defense attorney for the Covington man accused of throwing a rock at a monk seal in Hawaii. Miles Briner tells Hawaii News Now his client was trying to protect some turtles.
He assumed that when he saw the seal, the monk seal, pushing the
the turtles off of the rocks, that he was just doing something good by scaring it away.
Reiner says his client is apologetic about what happened.
He's devastated at the notion that people thought he wanted to injure the seal.
Igor Litvinchuk is due in federal court in Hawaii May 27th.
The Why Not You Academy, a charter high school launched with support from Russell Wilson and Sierra, will close its doors next month. According to the Seattle Times, the Des Moines-based school has faced persistent enrollment and funding challenges since it opened in 2021. Families now being guided to nearby public schools. Staff are being assisted with job transitions. The Highline School District will take back the facility.
Well, it was a warm welcome for Mariners rookie infielder Colt Emerson as the young star had his first hit with the ball club yesterday, and boy, it was a big one.
The stretch, and again the 2-2 to Colt, swinging a fly ball down the right field line and deep. This one is gone. Goodbye baseball. Colt Emerson. Holy smokes, his first hit in the big leagues is a 3-run home run down the right field line. What a storybook beginning for this kid.
Oh, awesome. That gave the Mariners a 6-1 lead late in the game yesterday. They would go on to beat the White Sox by that same score. Colt Emerson was called up from the minor leagues on Sunday. He was the 22nd pick in the 2023 draft, starting the season with the Tacoma Rainiers. In March, he signed an 8-year, $95 million contract extension with the team. Seattle sees him as the future of the franchise. They're going to play again tonight. First pitch, 6:40. You can follow the game on our sister station, 710 Seattle Sports.
I was talking with producer David about this during a break. I said, I'm going to be confusing Colt Emerson and Emerson Young and who else?
So there's Cole Young at second base. There's Colt Emerson at third base. And then
Cole
on
Young,
the mound
Colt
at a certain
Emerson.
day will be Emerson Hancock.
Emerson Hancock.
That'll be a fun Charlie.
I just sense a train wreck a-coming. 7:12 now. Let's check in with Nick Allard from KIRO 7 TV. A nice little forecast you have for us, Nick.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'll take that as a compliment because we have some clouds this morning, sure. And yes, a couple pockets with some sprinkles possible kind of not only this morning, but also just throughout the day. However, I really do think it is more dry than wet today. And I think you'll get to the mid-60s, staying mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, we're going to see some increasing sun for the afternoon. I think it will take a while, but we will see at least some. And then I think you're going to find same thing on Thursday. So we just have a chance for a few showers today. That's it. And then we're dry tomorrow. We're dry on Thursday. We have sunshine for the afternoon. We have sunshine for Friday. We have sunshine for Saturday. And we start that way for Sunday. So on Sunday, you'll see increasing clouds, and that's going to lead to at least, a few showers that night. Not during the day, but I think Sunday night into Monday, there could be a few. And that would be it. So we'll go from upper 60s and lower 70s for Thursday, Friday, Saturday to Sunday, about 68. And then I think on Memorial Day, we're down to about 62. Still, it's not much. It's just a couple of showers. I think if you're camping overnight would be your best bet to see a little bit of rain, but that should do it. And today, again, it's mostly around Snohomish County now where you're seeing rain. I think you see a few late day sun breaks, and everybody could see a sprinkle or two. But if you just have plans outside, I wouldn't worry too much about what the rain will do because I don't think measurable rain is a thing area-wide. It'd be more like, oh, I got a sprinkle or I got a raindrop or two, and then that's kind of the story and not much more than that.
All right. Thank you for that, Nick. Right now in Seattle, it's 51.
And it's time for a check on traffic. We do that every 10 minutes for you. Chris Sullivan, what do you have?
Well, we've now blocked the right lane of northbound 405 past this little fender bender I told you about 10 minutes ago, just past Sunset. They weren't bothering anybody, but then the emergency vehicle's now shown up and the right lane is blocked, and we're backed up pretty heavily now. Those S-curves just aren't moving as fast as they should. We've jumped up to 40 minutes now from Renton to Bellevue, so we've added 10 minutes onto that commute. This is spilling over onto the Valley Freeway, which was already a little rugged today. We're looking at 50 minutes from Puyallup up to Renton. Federal Way to Seattle's running right around 50 minutes. Brake lights there in the usual suspect locations. No shockers there. Coming down from the north end, definitely filling in on a heavy Tuesday. We've got an hour and 20-minute trip from Everett into Bellevue. That's an hour away from Linwood. And, of course,
it's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
$15 in the express toll lane south of the Linwood area for I-5. It's 20 minutes faster, but still not great. An hour from Everett into the Seattle area. This traffic report brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
Seattle's tradition for news and conversation. This is Seattle's Morning News with Charlie Harger and Manda Factor.
7:15 now. President Trump says he is delaying new attacks on Iran this week in order to give the country more time to coordinate peace talks. This is as a delicate ceasefire between the two nations remains, and the price of oil continues to tick up.
Let's bring in retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton, a national security contributor for News Nation. In your eyes, where does all of this stand this morning, General?
Hey, good morning, Amanda, and Charlie, best to you also. I think the president is, again, showing, really significant strategic patience here, dealing with the Iranian regime. And as you reported, and it's in the media, and the president announced that he's giving a pause to anticipated re-attack military strikes on the Iranian regime. But I anticipate this will be a short pause at this point in terms of what apparently United Arab Emirates, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, the leaders, through back channels, asked for just one more pause. We've been through this before, but I think what happens next, should the Iranian regime not come forward with any type of a framework that is suitable to the United States and our national security interests, and frankly for the rest of the free world, of ceasing their efforts permanently to pursue a nuclear weapon, as well as open up the Strait of Hormuz, you're going to see significant military action, and that's what I would advise the president for next steps.
What would that action look like, General?
Charlie, it would be, I think, all-encompassing. This is my advice to the president, but what I anticipate is that first and foremost, you would see military strikes in and around the Strait of Hormuz that where is located the offensive capabilities that the regime has employed with regard to their shore base just up to the northern part of the strait there, of their short-range ballistic missiles, their drones, as well as where they launch those small attack boats. I call them the Mosquito Fleet, where they go and they really threaten commercial shipping as well as U.S. warships in the region. I also believe that the United States will go after other significant military capabilities that still exist. If you recall, back on the 7th of April, when the president had that main pause of Operation Epic Fury that had been ongoing for about 38 days, we still had, in my estimation, Charlie, about 10 to 12 days left of targets, what I would say in the U.S. Central Command target folder that Admiral Brad Cooper had still yet to execute. And that would be after their ballistic missile launchers, their ballistic missile stockpiles, their ballistic missile development capability. All that adds up to significant still Iranian retaliatory capability or potential retaliatory capability. And they've been trying to reload ever since we put on pause back on the 7th. Also, we go after their drone capabilities as well as remnants of their nuclear weapons development capability.
How much do we actually know about what they have left stockpiled?
Are you talking about their ballistic missiles or their nuclear
ballistic missiles?
Admiral, you bet. Admiral Cooper testified on the Hill on Thursday, and he testified a significant amount of their ballistic missiles inventory, as well as their development of those ballistic missiles, their defense industrial base, has been significantly curtailed. However, he didn't put a percentage on it. I would guesstimate, Amanda, that it's probably we have destroyed 75 to 80% of their ballistic missile retaliatory capability. And that includes the missiles themselves, their launchers, as well as their development capability as well. But since the 7th of April, they've been able to try to build back again and to restock. So those numbers could be off a little bit, but I think they're really the bottom line here is, as I mentioned before, I think there's about 8 to 10, maybe 12 days worth of targets where you have a full court press of U.S. Sea-based air power as well as air power. And I think you would also see, and I would advise the president to have the Israelis join in, because they have significant air power as well, as they've demonstrated back in June of last year, but also since Operation Epic Fury kicked off on February 28th. So likely they would join in, but more focus on the Islamic regime, the Iranian regime, their infrastructure that supports the regime itself, likely their command and control, their energy production capabilities that supports the regime, as well as their command and control and their leadership as well.
We're speaking with retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton. General, what does an operation to go in and take the uranium look like if the Iranians say there's no deal on that? I'm assuming that is one of the hard lines the United States has right now.
It's a major operation, Charlie, with risk. Is it doable? Yes. But just to put into context for our listeners, by my count, my sources, there's about 900 pounds of, the president refers to this as dust, but there's enriched uranium at about the 60% grade. You need about 92% to really have full effect of a nuclear weapon. This is less than that, but still it's about 900 pounds of enriched uranium that could become fully enriched uranium at, I believe, at Isfahan, and then at Natanz, I believe, there's about 100 pounds of less enriched uranium. So you've got two sites. You've got about 1,000 pounds. But the challenge is, first, getting to that site. Secondly, getting access to it, because we presume, and I believe this is true, that it's deeply buried, which really is not direct accessible to both the regime as well as would be certainly U.S. forces going in there, but nonetheless, you'd have to dig in to get it. And then you're going to need several thousand of U.S. troops and specialized troops, especially, who are trained in being able to handle it and get it out of the ground, get it transported, get it out of the country, either by ground, but more likely by air, presumably. That is a major endeavor, major undertaking. Can we do it? Yes, but there is some risk there in doing so.
General, here at home, we continue to pay higher prices for gas and pretty much everything. When it comes to the Strait of Hormuz, who holds the cards between the U.S. and Iran?
Great question. I think there are cards being held by the regime as well as by the United States. I think first and foremost, the most cards are with the United States, based on the highly effective naval blockade that, as I mentioned, Admiral Cooper, the commander of U.S. Central Command, has employed against the regime by preventing any ships going to or from Iranian ports, especially those that are exporting their oil and liquid natural gas and so forth out of the Strait of Hormuz. And that's really what their economy is based on, is an energy production and an energy export economy. So that is a significant card for the United States. However, the other significant card that the regime has, not necessarily the Iranian people, not the 90 million people, but the regime, they're only in a fight for survival, Amanda. And by that, their only aim here is to survive and then fight and win another day. But they are holding hostage the commercial shipping, because you've got about 1,500 to 1,600 commercial ships still held up in the Persian Gulf, and they're preventing in the Strait of Hormuz shipping to go back and forth just by the threat of their use of those small gunboats I mentioned, deploying mines, short-range ballistic missiles, and so forth. Now, we have the military power to go in there and destroy that. We've yet to really go full court press, as I mentioned earlier, to do so. So that's the cards that are being played here. I think those cards, however, will turn against Iran, and more so with the United States, once we unleash Admiral Cooper and his both sea-based capability and air-based capability in around the Strait. And what I would say, much like we've gained air dominance, we maintain maritime dominance and keep it, Amanda, for the foreseeable future.
Retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton. General, always great talking to you. We will be talking to you again soon as this progresses. Thanks for your time this morning.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great to be with you, too. Good morning.
Thank you. Take care. We need to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes. And here's Chris Sullivan.
And we've added about 5 more minutes to our drive from the Renton area on up into Bellevue. We've got about a 45-minute trip now because of this crash in the right lane as you get up past SR 900. So not exactly a great day for you guys. A little bit of spillover onto the Valley Freeway. That's why we're still rolling at about a 50-minute clip from Puyallup to Renton. Federal Way to Seattle's running at about 55 minutes now. We have heavy braking past the West Seattle Bridge into downtown. Coming down from the north end, an hour and 20 from Everett to Bellevue, about an hour from Everett to Seattle, so no real surprises for you guys. Lake bridges are still doing in good shape. Still in good shape. Coming down even further from the north, if you're trying to come down from Bellingham, southbound I-5, we continue to work with a truck in the ditch that's been on its side, and I'm talking a big rig. Right lane is blocked. Got about a 2.5-mile backup at Bothell, so that's about halfway between Bellingham and Burlington. This traffic report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app and stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams.
Forecast calls for partly cloudy skies by the afternoon, a high in the mid-60s. Overnight low in the upper 40s to low 50s. Right now in Seattle, it's 53.
Coming up, KIRO News Radio's John Repp joins us live from Bothell on the scene of an officer-involved shooting.
This is Seattle's Morning News.
This hour is brought to you by CM Heating. At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one local's trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. This is Sully. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, a full service history. It's all right there at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence.
Why is K2 Vision RLE a permanent solution to glasses, contacts, and readers? How is it that you'll never develop a cataract after K2 Vision RLE? And how is RLE different from LASIK?
Hey, it's Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. We'll answer those questions and others when you join us for our free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Andy, what are some of the other questions you hear?
Well, how long is the procedure and recovery? Or who's a good candidate for RLE?
And we'll also answer, how much does RLE cost? Is there financing available? Does insurance pay for RLE?
Find out how K2 Vision RLE is the permanent solution to glasses, contacts, and readers.
And cataracts too.
Right, no more cataracts.
K2 Vision's free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Space will be limited, so register now at k2visionrle.com.
Join us at our free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Sign up at k2visionrle.com.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying, where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes, so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional grade products you need to get the job done. With fast delivery you can depend on and access to technical product experts ready to help you meet any challenge. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
I just can't dig it.
Dig what?
My water line.
Needs replacing?
And I don't want digging in my yard.
And maybe your driveway.
Can't dig it.
Don't dig it.
But how do you?
Apollo Plumbing replaces water lines without digging up your yard.
You're Dan.
From the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Apollo Plumbing.
Our trenchless technology replaces water and sewer lines.
Without digging up my yard?
2 little holes is all it takes.
Sounds better.
Faster, too.
And my yard?
Like we were never there.
Sounds spendy.
Not so much.
Oh?
In the end, about the same as that messy digging you don't want.
How do you figure?
Think about that landscaping you love.
Yeah?
Trenchless means you won't be paying to replace it.
Or my driveway.
We run everything underground.
Trenchless?
Do them all the time.
How about...
Easy payments?
Yeah.
With approved credit. Sure thing.
When can you get started?
We are the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Love that.
Apollo Plumbing, trenchless waterline replacement.
Sewer lines, too.
Can you dig that?
That I can.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Hey, when was the last time you inspected your crawl space or your attic? What's the last time you went in there just to see what kind of shape they're in? Oh, never? Yeah, same. I don't want to go in there. Most homeowners completely avoid those areas, but it is important to check on them regularly. It's why you call Crawl Pros. They'll come out and go where you don't want to. Hey, it's Mike Salk here. And yes, when Crawl Pros came out to my place, they realized we had a little problem with our insulation. So they've set about fixing it, and they did a great job. But if you've got the same problem, they'll also look to see what kind of energy rebates are available. Right now, local utility companies are incentivizing homeowners to make their home more energy efficient with proper insulation. And some homes qualify for several $1,000s in savings with these utility rebate programs. So don't just assume your crawl space and attic are in great condition. Do what I did. Call Crawl Pros today and schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection and find out if you've got water intrusion, mold, rodent issues, or even damaged insulation. Schedule your crawl space and attic inspection at crawlpros.com.
Spring is the perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 7:31. We continue to follow a developing story this morning.
Investigators are actively searching for several suspects after an officer opened fire outside a Bothell 7-Eleven early this morning.
KIRO News Radio's John Repp has been on the scene all morning and joins us once again live.
It started with an illegal U-turn just after midnight and a Bothell police officer pulling into this 7-Eleven parking lot here in Thrasher's Corner, following the suspect's car, then walking up to it. And that's when police say the driver opened the door and fled. A passenger moved into the driver's seat, and then police say a passenger pointed a gun at the officer. That officer opened fire. The vehicle sped off, ramming the patrol car in the process. And then Snohomish County Public Information Officer Courtney O'Keefe says they got a call from Burien about an hour later when a 19-year-old was dropped off at the hospital there.
That is believed to be an individual involved here in the shooting this morning. At this time, that person has been transported to Harborview Regional Medical Center, where he remains in stable condition.
She says police found the vehicle unoccupied, and all of this, as you can imagine, remains under active investigation. The officer was unhurt. Live in Bothell, John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
Well, it's a concerning scene reported inside Discovery Park.
We Heart Seattle founder Andrea Suarez says a volunteer found a man camping alone in the woods with no food and no bedding, but she tells the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red 770 AM he has about 100 milk jugs full of urine. She says he refused their help.
That man does not need a keys to an apartment. That man needs to be psychiatrically evaluated now before something worse happens. He's a ticking time bomb.
The group reported what they saw to the city. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
As of now, the situation is unresolved. We have reached out to the City Parks Department for comment.
It's 7:33. That's time for a check on traffic. We do that every 10 minutes. The threes. What's happening, Sully?
Well, we've cleared the crash on northbound I-405 right there at SR 900 at Sunset there coming out of Renton. Still very slow from 167 on up. It's still over 40 minutes from Renton to Bellevue, and it's all just right there. Once you get through that, it's a pretty clean drive the rest of the way. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, we've got some spillover, but it's manageable. We're looking at about a 50 plus minute trip to go from Puyallup to Renton. Have heavy from 180th, also seeing the brake lights in Auburn. Looking at westbound 512 being a little heavier than normal, working your way through Steel Street over towards I-5. Tuesday, a heavy day for that corridor as well, so plan on some delays there. The I-5 corridor from Olympia through the core, Tacoma, not too bad, and then Federal Way to Seattle's about an hour, maybe 10 minutes slower than you might have expected. Lake bridges are still fine. However, both westbound and eastbound I-90 really struggling right around I-405. Coming down from the north end, an hour and 20-minute trip from Everett to Bellevue, about an hour and 5 from Everett to Seattle. Just bumper to bumper in those usual locations there. Coming down even further from the north, about halfway between Bellingham and Burlington at Bow Hill Road, that is. We continue to work with a semi in the ditch. Right lane blocked, about a 2.5-mile backup behind it. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, we're going to stay mostly cloudy for today. You might even see a few sprinkles here and there. Slight possibility of a few sunbreaks, 65. Tomorrow looks a little bit better, partly sunny, 68. Thursday and Friday into the mid-70s. Right now in Seattle, it's cloudy and 53.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show. Seattle's morning news on KIRO Newsradio.
And it's time for the 7:35 commentary.
You can go around and ask every single person here, and no one will say they feel unsafe. I think it was just a myth. Because, generally, everyone feels safer with him. I want to join law enforcement.
That's Julian Mercado, a senior at Bothell High School. He was at a school board meeting last week, along with a lot of other students and parents, asking the North Shore School Board to keep Officer Garrett Ware, the school resource officer, at his school. The board voted 4-1 to get rid of the position anyway. The district said so directly, and it isn't about money. The position is grant funded by the federal government, so it costs the district nothing. The decision came out of an annual review. This is School Board Director Han Tran.
I'm not able to support the renewal of this contract because this district owes our community something more comprehensive, more equitable, and more empowering to all community members.
More comprehensive, more equitable, more empowering. I'm not sure what any of this has to do with keeping kids safe at school. The community isn't either. Yesterday morning, a big chunk of the Bothell High School student body walked out of class in protest. Last night, parents and students packed the board meeting to tell the board exactly what they thought. But the vote is done. The community, however, is not. Let's be fair to the board. Are there kids who feel uneasy around police officers? Sure. Kids carry what their families carry. Kids carry what they see online. That's real. Nobody should wave it off. But the answer can't be to keep those kids away from cops their whole lives. The whole point of school resource officers is the opposite. It's a chance for a kid to know a cop as a person, the one who shows up at a basketball game, the one who knows their name. You take that away, and the only cop that kid ever meets is the one showing up after something has already gone wrong. That isn't an improvement. We had this conversation in 2020. ACAB, defund the police. A lot of cities tried versions of it. Some districts pulled SROs out of buildings. Many have quietly walked it back since. I figured we'd work our way to something more nuanced. We need cops. Good cops exist, and so do cops who never should have made it through the academy. The job is to keep the first and remove the second. But we need cops. And now, in 2026, in Bothell, the school board is voting the way a board might have voted in the summer of 2020, while the actual students are standing in front of them saying, don't. The kids in that building are telling grown-ups in the room they like the officer in their hallway. The grown-ups are voting like they weren't listening. I'll tell you what I know from my own kids' school. There are SROs in that building. They go to football games. They're in the hallways. They know the kids. The kids know them. When something starts to go sideways, they are the ones who quietly handle it. And they are the reason a lot of those students will grow up thinking a cop is someone you can trust. It's not a small thing. Bothell High School is about to lose that. Let's not lose sight of what this is actually about. Student safety, not equity, not empowerment, just keeping kids in one piece between the first bell and the last. Schools aren't what they were when I was a kid. Fights escalate faster. Fentanyl shows up in backpacks. Threats arrive by text in the middle of third period. An SRO is part of how a school handles any of that. You take the SRO out. Tell me what replaces him. The board didn't say. I'm sure it'll be equitable and empowering. Students aren't asking for less police. Julian, Brady, Avery, Ray, they all went on camera. They started a petition, a united student body telling the 4 adults on that board that the 4 adults are wrong. The board called it equity. The students called it their school. The kids are the grown-ups in this story. And that's the commentary for Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. You can text your thoughts to the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line, 888-973-5476. You can join the chat on our YouTube Live at KIRO News Radio. Be sure to click like and subscribe, or leave a comment at mynorthwest.com.
It's 7:39. Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to take a look at the commute coming down from the north end, break it down for you next.
Remember when you didn't have to think about energy? You just had it. Now it's the midday crash, the sleepless nights, the moments where you catch yourself thinking, what on earth has happened to me? Well, here's the thing. Nothing's wrong with you. Your hormones just stopped holding up their end of the deal. At Juvacor Health and Wellness Center, hormone replacement therapy isn't a guessing game. It starts with a real sit-down conversation with a female provider who's heard your story before because she hears it every single day. Dr. Lucy Hostetter is board-certified physician and has spent 7 years doing one thing very well, helping women feel like themselves again. Your treatment is built around your labs, your symptoms, and your life, not some cookie-cutter protocol. And the follow-up is real, because feeling better shouldn't be a one-appointment promise. Now, with 2 convenient locations, Tacoma and Bellevue, expanding from their flagship home at Seattle Regenerative Medicine Center, great care is closer than ever. Stop Googling your symptoms at 2 o'clock in the morning. Start a conversation with someone who actually has the answers. JuveCoreHealth.com. That's JUVECoreHealth.com. Feel like yourself again.
KIRO Newsradio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Renton police investigating a shooting that happened just after midnight.
Engaging conversation.
It's just indefensible. The mayor's communications team should be better.
Traffic.
A full closure now, southbound 509 at Alexander Avenue.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
My name is Skip, and Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland helped me with my Small Business Administration loan. With her help, I was able to keep my small business open, and she can help you too. Please contact Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland's office at 360-459-8514 or visit strickland.house.gov for help. Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home in Washington, recent headlines might concern you. Talk of pocket listings or private networks where only certain consumers see certain properties are all over the media. Good news. The legislature recently passed a bill to protect you in your transaction. No secret deals, all listings available for everyone to see, not just an exclusive club of insiders. This means more competition, better offers, and fair access for all consumers. Learn more at warealtor.org, sponsored by Washington Realtors.
John Curley here. You know a smart thing to do right now? Upgrade your cooling now with Home Comfort Alliance. Choose a Lennox cooling system and get a heating system free. Their 60-second online price estimator makes it so easy. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
At 7:43, we check traffic with Chris Sullivan.
And we are dealing with a relatively normal Tuesday out there, Charlie. Brake lights are right where they should be. They're pretty heavy. Right now, we're getting closer to an hour and a half to make the drive from Everett into the Bellevue area because we might have a new crash just south of Totem Lake, right around just south of 116th there that's added some extra pressure. So it's an hour and 10 minutes alone just from Linwood down into Bellevue. You compare that to the hour and 5-minute trip total from Everett to Seattle. You can see that I-405 is definitely much, much worse, and I'll have more for you on that crash in Totem Lake in 10. Lake bridges, though, are still in good shape. Renton to Bellevue up over 40 minutes, but we've picked up the pace a little bit now that the crash has cleared as you work your way past SR 900. Behind that, we have Puyallup to Renton running at about 55 minutes. Some brake lights up the hill to 18, and then about an hour now from Federal Way to Seattle. West Seattle Bridge also caught up in things eastbound, pretty heavy all the way from West Seattle over to I-5. Lake Bridge is still good. 18 over Tiger Mountains, kind of a normal day, seeing some brake lights over the summit, and we're still working with about a 3-mile backup on southbound I-5, working past Bothell Road. That's about halfway between Bellingham and Burlington for this semi that went into a ditch. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And the weather, it looks like we will have partly to mostly sunny skies at times this afternoon, a high in the mid-60s. Overnight lows will be in the low 50s. Right now in Seattle, it's 53.
Oh, Mr. Sully, you have a choke point coming up.
Yeah, we do. A really popular topic, raising tolls. Apparently they're not high enough, and they're going to be discussing how far they might go later today.
All right, that's next on Seattle's Morning News.
Word here for Closets by Design. If you ever have one of those mornings where you're already behind, your pantry is a mess, your garage, you got to step over stuff, well, you're not doing anything wrong. Most homes just weren't set up to work the way we actually live. That's where Closets by Design comes in. Not only do they do amazing closets, but they help your garage, where you can park your car, your pantry. You can finally use it. Your laundry room is organized. Home offices and wall beds. That's what we did at my place. Entertainment centers, mud rooms, everything. And it's all custom built in Kent. It's designed for your home. They have a designer come out, take the measurements. Nothing off a shelf. Nothing is pre-made. Right now, for a limited time, you get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. So go to closetsbydesign.com or call them 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get your project started today.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at washingtonaccidentbooks.com.
At Guardian Roofing Gutters and Insulation, we know that keeping your home watertight and dry is essential to your family's safety and comfort. Having well-functioning gutters prevents water damage to your home and prolongs the life of your roof. Whether you need a cleaning or a complete gutter install, we do it all. Call today and get $250 off a gutter installation and visit us at guardianroofing.com.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's Morning News.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Solomon.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
It's 7:47 now. Well, the max toll rates on I-405 and Highway 167, as you know, went up to $15 2 years ago. Even that increase, though, is not going far enough.
Yeah, a state agency is talking about raising the tolls again. This happens at a hearing later today, and Sully is here with details.
And to set the stage for this, the max toll rates on those two roads went up from $10 to $15 in March of 2024. And in the year that followed, 2025, the tolls generated nearly $40 million on those two corridors, a nearly $10 million increase over 2024. The number of toll transactions stayed about the same, which tells you a very interesting and very important point. That means the price increases definitely impacted that bottom line. Now, I poke fun every day at Washington State Transportation Commission Chair Debbie Young for saying this about the max tolls before those increases went into effect.
It's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
Because it really has to, apparently, every day. Because the tolls on I-405 hit that $15 max about 80% of the time during the morning commute ever since. Those are my unofficial numbers. Those are not their official numbers because I watch them every day and I play that soundbite every time they hit 15. And if you heard it enough, you probably get the idea. Yeah, you're hearing it a lot. The biggest culprit, of course, is that southbound 405 segment from Linwood down into Bothell, which only has one toll lane. It just doesn't have the capacity, and there are just so many people trying to make that run every day that it drives it up to 15 there almost daily. And that's, of course, why WashDOT is working so hard to add a second toll lane in that area. Now, the northbound 167 toll lane doesn't hit the max very often, but with the new Flex Pass rules that only went into effect a couple of months ago, we'll see how that turns out. So what is the Transportation Commission considering today? Well, they haven't put out their PowerPoint discussion as of yet. That's usually out about 24 hours ahead of time. But let me tell you, based on experience, here's what I'm pretty sure is going to be on the table. Raising the max tolls on 405 and 167. How much? Not sure. That's going to be in that PowerPoint. But they were talking about $18 last year. It could be that number or maybe even more because the state does need this corridor, those two corridors, to generate $1.5 billion in revenue over time. That is in another PowerPoint that's being discussed today. Now, the agency could also increase the HOV requirements to 3+ all the time, or expand those peak hours where 3+ is necessary to be free. Could expand tolling to the weekends. 405 is free right now, 167 is not. So a lot of different things that they're looking at to try to come up with more money. The commission is considering these changes as WashDOT finishes up work on expanding 405 between Bellevue and Renton. It's building a 2-lane express toll lane system there to match the one between Bellevue and Bothell. Work there was supposed to be finished last year. It's been delayed by 18 months, but the lanes should open next summer. So they're looking for some consistency along that entire corridor from Linwood down into Sumner. Has the congestion pricing been working on 405 and 167? And let's not forget, this is not about getting you a faster trip. It's about pricing you out so others can get a faster trip, primarily buses, HOVs. The goal for the toll lanes is to run 45 miles an hour 90% of the time during peak hours. On 405, it's only 83%. But that's an improvement. On 167, it's only about 76%. So they have a ways to go to hit their maxes, but they're getting there on some of those things. But the bottom line is we're going to have to pay more if we want the ability to maybe get a little faster and more consistent trip.
$1.5 billion over time.
Just on that 167-405 corridor, basically from Linwood to Sumner.
Remind us, how far behind is the state on a yearly basis when it comes to upkeep and maintenance?
$1 billion. Every year, the legislature has chosen to not fund maintenance and preservation by about $1 billion for the last basically 3 decades. That changed this year in the supplemental budget. It seemed like the biggest buzzwords this year were maintenance and preservation.
Yeah.
Maintenance was like, where have you been the last 30 years? And again, that money, that 1.5, would go directly to this corridor, so it wouldn't be spread out other places. It goes directly to where you're using it. But still, yeah, they need a lot of money. Gas tax, CCA, EV taxes. Now this, and again, these are not your parents' tolls. This is congestion pricing. It's to try to get you out of those lanes so other people can get a better ride.
You know, when we were talking about this earlier, you brought up the case of the Astoria-Megler Bridge and how once it was paid off, then it no longer would be tolled. Happened, 30 years ago when the tolling finally went away. But that also got me thinking, Sully, about how when I lived in that area, we never went across the bridge because we were priced out of it. And
that was $1.25.
Something like that.
It was a flat fee.
Yeah, and so instead it was a much longer drive up to South Bend or Raymond just because we didn't want to spend that kind of money. You think about how people are getting priced out, can't go through the tunnel. You don't want to take I-90. You got the toll lanes you can't use. It's getting more and more expensive for people who are living on the margins.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, the people who get screwed by this, I think of the small contractor.
Stuck in traffic.
The 1 or 2 person, working in your people's yards or doing maintenance work or whatever, construction, electricians.
You have to be there on time.
You have to get there, and so and you can't afford to spend that. And right now, to be honest, that section which performs the worst from Linwood down to Bothell, you're paying $15 and getting nothing because that lane is running just as slow as the main line. So you're right. I mean, the things that used to be free, we called them freeways for a reason, remember? And then we called them toll roads, which is different. You go to the Midwest and you have a tolling system that's an entirely different animal that works incredibly well, but they do things there that they will not do here, which like put services on toll and pay for themselves with the tolls. We don't do that here. We just put the money into the fund and then spend it on whatever, and then at the end of the day pull out our pockets and go, hey, taxpayers, we're short again. Guess who's going to pay?
You are.
Us.
Yeah. All right. To be continued. You have more on this on mynorthwest.com, but we need to check traffic right now.
And on those, right there where I was talking, you want bumper to bumper and $15, where you're going to get it from Linwood all the way down through Bothell with bumper to bumper there. Plus, we have a crash. I believe it's in the left-hand lane on southbound 405 as you get past 116th and Totem Lake. So we're well over an hour and a half from Everett into Bellevue. So behind schedule for that corridor, even by about 20, 25 minutes over what you you probably expected. About an hour and 10 now from, about an hour and 10 from Everett to Seattle. So much faster there, but still a bear of a drive coming down from Shoreline. Looking at the rest of the map is not terrible. Puyallup to Renton, under 55 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, just under an hour. Renton to Bellevue, about 42, 43 minutes. The lake bridges are in good shape. So the south end drive is manageable. North end, not so much. Now, if you're coming down or expecting somebody coming down from the Bellingham area, we're still working with this semi off into the ditch. There as you get past Bothell Road, that's about halfway between Bellingham and Burlington. We have about a 3-mile backup there and about a 15-minute delay at minimum. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Might see some sprinkles, might see some sun breaks, but for the most part, we're just going to stay mostly cloudy today. 65 the high tomorrow, partly cloudy, 68, and then beautiful sunny skies for Thursday and Friday, and much warmer. Highs back into the mid-70s. Right now in Seattle, it's cloudy and 53.
On the way, we'll have more of the day's top headlines, and then we head live to Bothell. That's where an officer shot someone overnight.
Also coming up, New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold breaks down why the Trump administration will get nearly $2 billion from the Justice Department.
The G and Ursula Show.
Prices in the Seattle area jumped nearly 5% in April.
Weekdays 9 to noon.
Well above the national inflation rate of 3.8%. So, in other words, we're paying more than much of the rest of America is right now.
It feels like a treadmill that continues to get faster and faster and faster, but somebody keeps speeding it up and increasing the incline.
G and Ursula. Watch live or later on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
Yeah, hi. I know it's late, but my water heater's leaking.
Don't worry, we can get a plumber out there fast.
Thanks.
You're welcome, and if it can be repaired, we'll take care of it. But if it's time to replace, you could save $200 on a new water heater right now. Plus, you may qualify for up to $1,000 in rebates, and we handle it start to finish.
Sweet.
Need a plumber fast? The CM Heating Plumbing Team is there when you need it most. Schedule now at cmheating.com.
There's no beating CM Heating.
CMHEA HL750LP.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, D.R. Horton has the right home for the best value. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. Another day, another threat aimed at Iran.
We may have to give them another big hit.
May have to give Iran another big hit, President Trump said moments ago at the White House. He says he called off action yesterday because a deal could be close.
I was an hour away. We were all set to go. You're talking about yesterday.
Yes.
We were going to be striking it would have been happening right now.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche is defending the new fund that could help Trump allies.
The $1.8 billion fund will compensate allies of President Trump who believe they were unfairly targeted politically by the Biden administration. Blanche says the fund is not unprecedented.
It's not limited to January 6 or to Jack Smith. There's no limitation on the claims.
Nearly 100 Democrats have urged a judge to block the fund. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen.
You're using those funds to punish Trump's adversaries, reward his friends, and pursue his personal vendettas.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Overseas, correspondent Holly Williams has more on the deadly Ebola outbreak in Africa.
My concern is just this thing's big, and I think it's bigger than we realize.
Grace Tran says she worked on Ebola preparedness for a group partnered with USAID until funding was cut by the Trump administration.
Diseases do not respect borders, and we can put in travel bans. We can do our best there, but if we're not closely tracing, cases and managing them, there's a very good chance that they could come to the U.S.
Police in San Diego still investigating yesterday's attack at a mosque that left 3 adults dead. CBS's Anna Schechter says the 2 teen suspects died of self-inflicted wounds.
Investigators are looking at things they found in the vehicle, etchings that could be on weapons. They're already combing through electronic devices. So there's a reason why they are calling this a potential hate crime.
Primaries are being held in a handful of states today. CBS News political director Finn Gomez.
The biggest issue continues to be economy, affordability, cost of living issues. That's consistently we have seen voters say are their top issues, including in our own polling. Also, other issues that are coming up are immigration and crime, energy, but those are, particularly in Republican primaries, right? Those are some of those key issues that we've been seeing.
2-time champion Carlos Alcaraz says he will miss Wimbledon because of a lingering wrist injury. And on Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 200 points, the S&P down 50. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Morning.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute.
Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
It's 8:03. Let's check in with Sully for traffic.
And we've got a traffic alert in effect for southbound 405 as you make your way out of Totem Lake. We have a crash there just south of 116th that is basically blocking the entire freeway. The only lane open is the far left lane, which is the second lane of the express toll lane system. Yeah, you can cross the double white there. Get over to get around this crash, and you shouldn't use. It's $0 in that general corridor to get around that, so they're not going to charge you the $15 to get around. They'll in another world they might, but in this world they're not. But the bottom line is the whole right side of the freeway is closed, and we're looking at an hour and 40, maybe an hour and 50 minutes now from Everett to Bellevue. That is a 30 to 40 minute delay. Southbound I-5, much better, but still terrible. Hour and 20 from Everett to Seattle. Rest of the map, bumper to bumper, northbound I-5 past the West Seattle Bridge. We've got an hour drive from Federal Way to Seattle. Also looking at about 55 minutes from Puyallup to Renton, hunting a crash right near 180th as well, getting into Renton, and then Renton to Bellevue's at 45. The Maple Valley Highway, not much joy trying to get over to 405 either. Lake Bridges, though, still get a gold star for you guys. Not enjoying a bad day so far. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
8:04 on the Tuesday, May 19th, 2026 edition of Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
A wild scene in Bothell early this morning after someone pointed a gun at a police officer and the officer opened fire. Detectives are looking for several suspects.
KIRO News Radio's John Rep is live in Bothell with the latest. John?
Charlie, I'm at the 7-Eleven on Bothell Everett Highway in Thrasher's Corner, where police say they followed a vehicle that made an illegal U-turn as it pulled into the parking lot here. But when the officer walked up to the vehicle, the driver opened the door and ran away. A passenger pointed a gun at the officer, who then fired several times at the vehicle. Passenger slid into the driver's seat and drove away, ramming the patrol car in the process. About an hour later, Snohomish County Public Information Officer Courtney O'Keefe says a 19-year-old male showed up at a Burien hospital with a gunshot wound.
There are multiple passengers still outstanding. We have recovered and seized the vehicle involved in this incident.
The suspect with the gunshot wound now at Harborview in stable condition, but O'Keefe says this is a complex investigation and it's really just getting started. Live in Bothell, John Rapp, KIRO News Radio.
A 31-year-old Bellevue man is now charged with first-degree murder in connection with the stabbing death of a 19-year-old student at the University of Washington.
Charging documents allege Christopher Leahy stabbed Juniper Blessing with more than 40 stab wounds on Sunday. More from KIRO 7 TV's Gary Horker.
He's now accused of stabbing Blessing to death in the laundry room of Nordheim Court Apartments, that's near the UW campus. Now, Juniper Blessing's family released a statement in response to the court documents filed, saying in part this, quote, "Today and every day we remain focused on our Juniper, whose loving spirit has no bounds. Juniper was a beautiful human being with a heart full of love, tolerance, talent, determination, and intellectual curiosity that was a light in our world and to the world at large."
Leahy is being held on $10 million bail. He will be back in court this Thursday.
The Covington man accused of staging a fake home invasion and then killing his wife earlier this month has pleaded not guilty to a first-degree murder charge. KIRO 7 TV's El Thomas reports 41-year-old Kyle Cathcart appeared before a judge yesterday.
Documents obtained by KIRO 7 say he called 911 to say someone broke into his home and stabbed both him and his wife. But police say his story didn't add up, and he actually killed her. He was on the run for a couple of days before police arrested him. The judge setting his bail at $60 million. His trial is set to start in July.
Students at Bothell High School walked out of class yesterday to protest the North Shore School Board's vote to eliminate the school resource officer program. The board voted 4-1 last week to remove Officer Garrett Ware from campus, saying some students may feel uncomfortable with police in schools. Senior Lucas Sidowski spoke to KIRO 7 TV.
Officer Ware is not just an SRO in a uniform and a blank face. He is a part of our community. He is a part of what Bothell is.
Student leaders say they want the board to reconsider, and they're pushing for a revote.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Okay, when did this come out and how old am I feeling now?
82, maybe?
Right, it was
I think this
early.
was the Police's first album they
Was
released.
it Outlandos D'Amour?
Something.
Had Roxanne on there.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you, Nick.
Put out a lot of good music for three people who hated each other.
It's Tuesday, May 19th. He's Charlie Harger on Manda Factor.
That's Sully right over there. Producer David Burbank is in the studio. That's Nick picking all the tunes. Katrina Gashard is out at the KIRO Radio News Desk. And we have John Rep filling in for Luke Ducey today. And, of course, Frank Summerall is at the My Northwest News Desk.
Coming up this hour, New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold breaks down why the Trump administration will get nearly $2 billion from the Justice Department for the president's political allies.
Oh, here we go. Angela Poe Russell is in for G today, and she has some thoughts about my commentary today.
All right, we'll get to that. It's 8:09. Starbucks has filed a warn notice with Washington State confirming 252 corporate employees at its Seattle support center will be laid off starting July 17th. The cuts affect only corporate roles, not baristas or store staff. The move follows recent reports that Starbucks is restructuring nationwide and eliminating hundreds of corporate positions as sales soften and the company looks to reduce costs.
An Auburn police officer arrested in an online child exploitation investigation is now out of custody. The 42-year-old posted $100,000 bail over the weekend, was released on Sunday. Pierce County Sheriff's Deputy Carly Capetto says he's accused of felony immoral communication with a minor after contacting an undercover detective.
When we get predators that essentially bite on these, that's on them.
He's due back in court June 2nd.
The man accused of stealing a Washington State Patrol SUV on Christmas Day has once again been found incompetent to stand trial. 24-year-old Alexander Smith was previously ruled incompetent in January. A judge has now ordered another 90 days of restoration treatment. Investigators say troopers were trying to coax Smith off I-5 near Northgate when he ran into traffic, allegedly knocked down a lieutenant and drove off in her patrol vehicle.
Here, get off the road. Please, bro. Please, bro.
He was eventually stopped near Alderwood Mall and taken into custody.
Whale watching groups spotted a brand new Biggs orca calf off Whidbey Island over the weekend.
KIRO 7 TV reports the group Island Adventures Cruises spotted a pod traveling off the west side of Whidbey Island. At first, it looked like a group of 4, but it was really a group of 5. There was a tiny newborn tucked in with the others. Biggs orcas are transient whales that travel along the Pacific coast from Alaska to California. They don't interact with or have the same diet as the resident orcas, J, K, and L pods, which are native to Washington waters.
That's KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
Well, Seahawks wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba is calling out a trophy blunder. JSN, of course, won NFLPA's Offensive Player of the Year in 2025. But when the trophy arrived, it was mislabeled.
I really want to expose them, though. It's getting disrespectful, guys. Defense, come on, bro.
He posted that video on social media showing the trophy label him as Defensive Player of the Year instead. And the award also has a typo. The words "the year" are combined.
One word. Man.
Come on, bro. In another post, Smith included a photo of himself with a caption that read, quote, "Just keep the award at this point. Leave it in the history books, though."
They also got his name wrong during the actual awards ceremony.
Yeah.
Remember that, too.
So much respect.
Yikes. JSN, we love you. All right. We also love the Mariners getting back on track yesterday. Dominant victory over the White Sox 6-1. Julio stayed hot. He got his 8th home run of the season.
Here's the pitch on the way. Swinging a fly ball deep into the gap in right center field. Going, and this one is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Holy smokes.
They play the White Sox once again, T-Mobile Park tonight at 6:40. Bryce Miller pitching. You can catch it on our sister station, 710 Seattle Sports.
It's 8:12. That's time for a check on the weather now. And for that, shall we turn to KIRO 7's Nick Allard.
Cloudy now, and for most of the day, I think you could see a few late-day sun breaks, but that's probably the extent of the sun today. And also, we have some rain in Snohomish County. There could be a few raindrops outside of there, but it would really just be raindrops. I don't think you'd see much, with temperatures staying cool in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, a little bit of morning cloud cover, then afternoon sun in the upper 60s, only partly cloudy. Low 70s Thursday, clouds early, then late-day sun, and then Friday and Saturday, sunshine, 70s. Sunday, about 68 to 70. You see increasing clouds, though, and you're dry until that night when you see a little bit of rain moving in that could impact camping plans, leading to a few showers for Memorial Day and much cooler in the low 60s. Not a washout, but you got to know the cool down and a few showers are in the mix.
Just cloudy and 54 in Seattle right now.
8:13 now. We check traffic on the 3s with Sully.
Want to add a little perspective here. Let's take deep breaths.
You're doing that? Yeah.
Okay. What are things that you want to do for 2 hours?
Watch a movie.
Watch a movie? 2 hours? That's even a little long for
Listen
me.
to Seattle's Morning News.
Okay, that's good. I can listen to that. Nick, any idea? A baseball game?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Something like that's a fast baseball game.
Where are we driving?
One thing we don't want to be doing
Not
for 2
going
hours
point A to point
is
B.
driving from Everett to Bellevue. But that's what
goodness.
we're doing right now. That's the damage that's been done. And an hour and 40 of that is just from Linwood down because of this crash that had until just about 2 minutes ago been blocking almost the entire freeway south of 116. All lanes have reopened, but we have about a 12-mile bumper-to-bumper backup that begins at Linwood and goes all the way past the scene. It's going to take a while for this thing to clear out. Right now, it's 2 hours Everett to Bellevue and an hour and 40 from Linwood, but I expect that to stay that way until it's going to take a while for this to clear out. That's the bottom line. For those of you on I-5, much faster trip, but still not great. I mean, an hour and 20 from Everett to Seattle is about 20 minutes slower than it should be. But boy, that's a lot faster than 405 at this point. So that might be your go-to, and then catch a Lake Bridge over. Rest of the map, about average. Got about an hour Federal Way to Seattle, about 50 minutes. Puyallup up to Renton. Renton to Bellevue is about 45 with brake lights all the way up past the VMAC and then more over the top of I-90. Lake Bridges are still in good shape. And all the way up in the north end, we're still struggling with about a 2.5 to 3 mile backup on southbound I-5 near Bothell Road. That's halfway between Bellingham and Burlington. I-5 southbound right lane remains blocked for a truck that ended up in the ditch. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Reliable, refreshing, and ready every morning. Seattle's Morning News.
Every Tuesday morning, we speak with New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold for the big stories of the week.
So, David, yesterday, the Justice Department announced the creation of a $1.776 billion fund to compensate President Trump's allies who claim they were unfairly targeted by the previous administration. Can you break this down for us?
Yeah, the sort of pretext for this was that President Trump sued his own government, sued the IRS for releasing his tax returns. Or they didn't release them, or for employing a contractor that released them to journalists. They sued them for $10 billion. That lawsuit was settled, even though a lot of people questioned whether Trump could even sue his own government, whether that was even possible. And so now what this is basically is a way around the legislative process. They would never have gotten Congress, which is supposed to be appropriating government money. They would never have gotten Congress, even this Congress, to approve a $1.76 billion slush fund for basically pay Trump's allies and friends whatever Trump wants. But in this way, by suing the government and settling, Trump thinks that he has unlocked this thing called the settlement fund, which is basically like an uncapped pool of taxpayer money the Treasury Department or the Justice Department has at its disposal to pay people who sue the government and win or sue the government and settle. So it's basically a way to create a giant slush fund for Trump's allies that doesn't need Congress's permission or oversight.
We're talking over $1 billion here, David.
Almost two.
Yeah, I did a little back of the napkin math. For everybody that pays taxes in this country, we're going to be paying $11. How unusual is something like this?
It's extremely unusual. And yes, you're right. There's no sort of hidden pool of money. This is taxpayer money. This is money that could have been spent on literally anything else the government does, the military, spending in Washington, bridges, roads, whatever. And yes, it also, if you think about the universe of people we're talking about, it's people like Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, this prominent Trump allies, as well as the thousands of people who were convicted of crimes related to January 6th. So, that's not a huge pool of people. It's a few thousand people at most, I think. We're talking about $1.76 billion. It's a lot of money for all those people. So, yes, it's a way for Trump to basically just hand out cash to people who support him. And it's your cash and mine.
David, are we talking like the guy with the horns who was in the Chamber of Commerce? Are we talking about people who smeared feces on the floor of the Capitol?
Well, they haven't identified the individual people who are going to receive it yet. There's going to be a 5-person board set up by basically Trump. But yes, that's the category of people that I think this is meant for. January 6th.
$1.776 billion going to them.
Yeah, from people like that. Exactly right.
I was just about to ask you what's been the reaction so far. I know what Charlie's is.
Well, I think that even in Washington, even among Republicans, there would have been no appetite to appropriate this kind of money from people on Capitol Hill. But you're talking about, the Justice Department thinks they found a way around this. And the people who run the Justice Department, especially Todd Blanche, who's the acting attorney general, they want to keep their jobs. They're doing what they can to make Trump happy. That's why they're trying to prosecute Trump's enemies. That's why they're setting this up. This is all done by people in Washington who work for Trump who want to keep their jobs.
How do I make myself eligible for this $1.776 billion that apparently only the president controls and Congress has no authority over it?
I mean, I think, unfortunately, you would have had to been prosecuted by the Biden administration. That's at least what this is designed
What
for.
if I felt like I was? What if I feel like I was prosecuted?
Honestly, I do wonder what kind of cases will come up like that. Like, there are people who were there's evidence they were charged in a court of doing something. Other people that you're talking about. What if I wanted to do something and I wasn't allowed to by the Biden administration? What if I wanted to graze my cattle on some piece of federal land and they wouldn't let me? Do I qualify for that? That'll be an interesting question to see what kind of sort of non-legal, less tangible injuries get paid out from this.
Is this real life? $1.776 billion just handed away. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any mechanism to undo this?
Well, I mean, I think we will see people file lawsuits trying to stop it. And it does seem like it is to my untrained legal mind, it does seem like it is a way around the clear constitutional delegation of spending authority to Congress. The question is, though, who can prove an injury? Or to get into court and try to stop this, you have to prove you were injured by it. And typically, the courts have not been willing to say, yes, you're injured because you're a taxpayer and your tax money is being misspent. And maybe people in Congress will try to sue. There's lots of ways of trying to block this, but it will take a long time, even if it works.
Yes, Charlie, this is real life.
Okay. Thank you, Manda, for that affirmation.
It's Tuesday, the 19th of May.
You agree with that? Is that factual, David?
It is real life. That's right.
Okay. Real quick, we have the actually very serious situation with Iran. We have conflicting stories about some sort of peace deal. What do we understand about this, David?
Well, what we've been seeing for the last few weeks, so there's obviously a ceasefire in place that leaves Iran effectively in control of the Strait of Hormuz. It means that, oil prices are going up. Oil tankers are not getting through. President Trump has shown himself totally unwilling to start the bombing again. I mean, I think that's what he's been threatening, but he's backed down from it so many times that I don't think it's really a credible threat anymore. And also, I'm not really sure what more bombing would accomplish. The U.S. has shown itself unwilling to commit ground troops, and there's not a lot of appetite for the renewed military push that it would take to dislodge Iran from its control of the Strait of Hormuz. So I think you are going to see some kind of peace deal that leaves Iran in a pretty strong position. But I think what Trump's goal now is just to get the economy going again. And frankly, he wants to get onto Cuba. I think he thinks, some sort of military action or embargo against Cuba will be a more safe bet. I think he's backing away from this adventure in Iran that didn't go well. So I do imagine there'll be some kind of peace deal that will get gas prices going down again eventually.
All right, David, we always have something to talk about, don't we? We appreciate your time.
Yes.
New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold.
It's 8:21. The attorney for the Covington man accused of throwing a rock at a Hawaiian monk seal says it was a mistake. Miles Briner tells the Hawaii News Now Igor Litvinchuk meant to scare the animal away from turtles and didn't realize monk seals are protected.
He assumed that when he saw the seal, the monk seal, pushing the turtles off of the rocks, that he was just doing something good by scaring it away.
He says his client is apologetic and devastated. People would think he was trying to hurt the seal. Litvinchuk is due in court in Honolulu, May 27th.
A scientific mystery has been solved in Alaska.
Lighthouse keepers had long heard the sounds at night, a rumble that rattled their windows. Fishermen heard it too. Was it distant machinery? Or thunder? Now scientists have traced the noise to humpback whales. They don't know why they make the sound. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
My desk is right next to Sully out in the newsroom.
Sometimes you hear similar noises?
I sometimes hear similar noises. I don't know why he makes those sounds.
I don't either. And
it's all biological, generally.
Speaking of Sully, it's time to check traffic on the threes. Where do we start?
Well, with that kind of drive. For those of you on southbound 405, we have cleared all lanes of southbound 405 in Totem Lake. The damage is done, though. We're an hour and 50 minutes to go from Linwood to Bellevue. That is plus or minus an hour longer than it should take, and 2 hours and 10 minutes to go from Everett. It is just an ugly day coming down that corridor. Some people are heading over to I-5 to get around it, and it's up over an hour and a half now from Everett into Seattle, so not a good day for you guys either. Northbound I-5, bumper to bumper from the beginnings of Boeing Field past the West Seattle Bridge, up over an hour from Federal Way to Seattle, so plus or minus about a 10-minute delay there. Valley Freeway, an hour now, so we're starting to see it be maybe 10 minutes slower than it should be. Renton to Bellevue is about 45. Across the lake, we're still hanging in there. Barely on 590. It's definitely slowing down getting through the Mount Baker Tunnel. And I'm looking to see if we might be working with a bridge lift on the Hood Canal Bridge, because we've gone all red there on either side. So I'll hopefully have more for you on that in 10. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, you might see a few sprinkles here and there today. Otherwise, just a mostly cloudy day. Maybe some sun breaks, but not too much in the way of sunshine. 65 today. Partly sunny tomorrow, 68. And then Thursday, we're going to warm up to the mid-70s. Same deal on Friday with lots of sunshine. Low 70s for Saturday. Looks like the showers return on Sunday. Memorial Day, we might see some showers too. Right now in Seattle, it's cloudy and 54.
Coming up, we'll check the day's top headlines and then check in on the status with the war in Iran. Retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton will join us. This is Seattle's Morning News.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more.
24% of businesses are now thinking about leaving Washington.
Traffic.
We are definitely seeing some slowing through the S-curves.
Conversation.
We build it, we produce it, we charge for it.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
A one-hander! Are you kidding me?
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half. That's right.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a U.S.-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims. Your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
have something to say, we'd love to hear it. Text KIRO News Radio at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Hey, when was the last time you inspected your crawl space or your attic? What's the last time you went in there just to see what kind of shape they're in? Oh, never? Yeah, same. I don't want to go in there. Most homeowners completely avoid those areas, but it is important to check on them regularly. It's why you call Crawl Pros. They'll come out and go where you don't want to. Hey, it's Mike Salk here. And yes, when Crawl Pros came out to my place, they realized we had a little problem with our insulation. So they've set about fixing it, and they did a great job. But if you've got the same problem, they'll also look to see what kind of energy rebates are available. Right now, local utility companies are incentivizing homeowners to make their home more energy efficient with proper insulation. And some homes qualify for several $1,000s in savings with these utility rebate programs. So don't just assume your crawl space and attic are in great condition. Do what I did. Call Crawl Pros today and schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection and find out if you've got water intrusion, mold, rodent issues, or even damaged insulation. Schedule your crawl space and attic inspection at crawlpros.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning, it's 8:30. One man is in the hospital. Bothell police are looking for several suspects after an armed confrontation and officer-involved shooting early this morning.
KIRO News Radio's John Repp reports from the scene.
This happened here at the 7-Eleven on Bothell Everett Highway at Thrasher's Corner just after midnight when police saw a vehicle make an illegal U-turn and then go into the parking lot. The officer followed, and that's when several things happened at once, starting with the driver opening the door and running away.
A firearm was displayed by one of the passengers and pointed at the Bothell police officer. The Bothell police officer fired multiple rounds towards the vehicle.
Snohomish County Public Information Officer Courtney O'Keefe says the police car was rammed several times. They later recovered the suspect vehicle in Burien and a 19-year-old with a gunshot wound dropped off at the hospital. The officer was unhurt. John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
Students at Bothell High School walked out of class yesterday to protest the North Shore School Board's vote to eliminate the school resource officer program. The board voted 4-1 last week to remove Officer Garrett Ware from campus, saying some students may feel uncomfortable with police in schools. Senior Lucas Sidakowski tells KIRO 7 TV.
Officer Ware is not just an SRO in a uniform and a blank face. He is a part of our community. He is a part of what Bothell is.
Student leaders say they want the board to reconsider, and they're pushing for a revote.
Well, the price of gas continues to be record high in Seattle. I just took a peek at AAA. Averages $5.99 a gallon. Pierce County Sheriff's Department is warning drivers after an attempted gas theft in Spanaway. Deputy Carly Capetto says late Sunday night, a deputy responded to the 4500 block of 225th Street Court East.
A hole could be seen punched in the gas tank, and plastic containers filled with fuel were left behind by the suspect.
With gas prices high, Capetto says these crimes are becoming more common and costly. Deputies recommended parking in a secure or well-lit area using surveillance cameras when possible.
Well, it was a warm welcome for Mariners rookie infielder Colt Emerson as the young star got his first hit with the ball club yesterday, and it was a big one.
The stretch. And again, the 2-2 to Colt, swinging a fly ball down the right field line and deep. This one is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Colt Emerson. Holy smokes, his first hit in the big leagues is a 3-run home run down the right field line. What a storybook beginning for this kid.
That gave the Mariners a 6-1 lead late in yesterday's game. That would be the final score as they beat the White Sox. You may remember in March, Colt Emerson signed an 8-year, $95 million contract extension with the team. We'll get another chance to see the rookie tonight. Mariners taking on Chicago again. First pitch, 6:40. And you can follow the game on our sister station, 710 Seattle Sports.
And as I said a little earlier, I'm apologizing to the Emerson family in advance, also the Young family, as I try to not get Colt Emerson and Cole Young confused, and certainly the Hancock family as well.
Right.
Emerson Hancock, Cole Young, Colt Emerson. What
I
could
have
possibly
faith.
go wrong with?
You just study a little. I have faith you can handle it.
Thank you. At least someone believes in me. Sully, you have traffic on the 3, and we believe in you too, Sully.
I know you do.
Yeah, but you have traffic on the 3.
Yes, I do, and we're trying to improve. It's just going to take a while. We're back down. We're back down to an hour and 40 minutes from Linwood to Bellevue. It was a little worse than that. That's about a 10-minute pickup. It's about 2 hours total to go from Everett down into Bellevue. This was because of a crash that basically closed the freeway for about 25 minutes there in the Totem Lake area. You have about an 11-mile backup to chew through to get there. Looking at the I-5 corridor, I think a few more people have decided to go that way. So it's an hour plus from Linwood and close to an hour and a half to go all the way from the Everett area down into Seattle. So not exactly a good day there. Northbound I-5, we're seeing the brake lights from the beginnings of Boeing Field all the way into downtown. No shockers for you guys. You've got about 35 minutes from South Center and an hour all the way from Federal Way. Looking at the West Seattle Bridge, not bad today. We have a little slowing around 35th, but then pretty clean until you get all the way down to the viaduct. Give yourself, just a normal amount of time there. Valley Freeway, we've got 50 minutes from end to end. Most of Pierce County is cleaned up. The I-90 corridor, 18 corridor getting to I-90, a little slowing over the top of Tiger Mountain, but manageable. And we're still working with about a 3.5 to maybe now 4 mile backup getting from into Burlington out of Bellingham because of this crash near Bow Hill Road. Still working with that semi in a ditch. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, we might get a little sprinkle action today. 65 our high, otherwise just mostly cloudy, maybe some peaks of sunshine, but not much. For tomorrow, partly sunny, 68, and then warming up to the mid-70s for Thursday and Friday as well. Right now, cloudy and 54 in Seattle.
Seattle's morning news. Always live, always connected. Stream, watch, subscribe, and share at mynorthwest.com.
President Trump says he is delaying new attacks on Iran this week in order to give the country more time to coordinate peace talks. This is as a delicate ceasefire between the two nations remains, and the price of oil continues to tick up.
Let's bring in retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton, a national security contributor for News Nation. In your eyes, where does all of this stand this morning, General?
Hey, good morning, Manda, and Charlie, best to you also. I think the president is again showing, really significant strategic patience here, dealing with the Iranian regime. And as you reported, and it's in the media, and the president announced that he's giving a pause to anticipated re-attack military strikes on the Iranian regime. But I anticipate this will be a short pause at this point in terms of what apparently United Arab Emirates, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, the leaders, through back channels, asked for just one more pause. We've been through this before, but I think what happens next, should the Iranian regime not come forward with any type of a framework that is suitable to the United States and our national security interests, and frankly for the rest of the free world, of ceasing their efforts permanently to pursue a nuclear weapon, as well as open up the Strait of Hormuz, you're going to see significant military action, and that's what I would advise the president for next steps.
What would that action look like, General?
Charlie, it would be, I think, all-encompassing. This is my advice to the president, but what I anticipate is that first and foremost, you would see military strikes in and around the Strait of Hormuz that where is located the offensive capabilities that the regime has employed with regard to their shore base just up to the northern part of the strait there, of their short-range ballistic missiles, their drones, as well as where they launch those small attack boats. I call them the Mosquito Fleet, where they go and they really threaten commercial shipping as well as U.S. warships in the region. I also believe that the United States will go after other significant military capabilities that still exist. If you recall, back on the 7th of April, when the president had that main pause of Operation Epic Fury that had been ongoing for about 38 days, we still had, in my estimation, Charlie, about 10 to 12 days left of targets, what I would say in the U.S. Central Command target folder that Admiral Brad Cooper had still yet to execute. And that would be after their ballistic missile launchers, their ballistic missile stockpiles, their ballistic missile development capability. All that adds up to significant still Iranian retaliatory capability or potential retaliatory capability. And they've been trying to reload ever since we put on pause back on the 7th. Also, we go after their drone capabilities as well as remnants of their nuclear weapons development capability.
How much do we actually know about what they have left stockpiled?
Are you talking about their ballistic missiles or their nuclear
ballistic missiles?
Admiral, you bet. Admiral Cooper testified on the Hill on Thursday, and he testified a significant amount of their ballistic missiles inventory, as well as their development of those ballistic missiles, their defense industrial base, has been significantly curtailed. However, he didn't put a percentage on it. I would guesstimate, Amanda, that it's probably we have destroyed 75 to 80% of their ballistic missile retaliatory capability. And that includes the missiles themselves, their launchers, as well as their development capability as well. But since the 7th of April, they've been able to try to build back again and to restock. So those numbers could be off a little bit. But I think they're really the bottom line here is, as I mentioned before, I think there's about 8 to 10, maybe 12 days worth of targets where you have a full court press of U.S. Sea-based air power as well as air power. And I think you would also see, and I would advise the president to have the Israelis join in, because they have significant air power as well, as they've demonstrated back in June of last year, but also since Operation Epic Fury kicked off on February 28th. So likely they would join in, but more focus on the Islamic regime, the Iranian regime, their infrastructure that supports the regime itself, likely their command and control, their energy production capabilities that supports the regime, as well as their command and control and their leadership as well.
That's News Nation national security contributor Lieutenant General Richard Newton joining us earlier on Seattle's Morning News.
It's 8:40. Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to continue to work with the massive delays on southbound 405 into Totem Lake. We'll break it down next.
The John Curley Show.
I have a 1941 Dodge at the front of the house. And
there's a nest in there.
Wasps. Big nest.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
I got 2 cans of wasp spray. I put them both on the seat, and I get a .22 rifle. Poof! Giant, cloud of fire and poison, which it did work. It seemed like something that Matt Damon, what's those movies he was in? Born Identity, a Born Identity thing.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
You're losing your hair, and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, A lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
At 8:43, we check in with Chris Sullivan for traffic.
And we're getting back to somewhat normal. The delay only about 20-25 minutes now. For those of you stuck in this pretty awful backup on southbound 405 from Linwood all the way down through Totem Lake. All the lanes have reopened from this earlier crash, but when you basically shut down the freeway for 25 minutes, this is what you're left with. It just takes a while to chew through the backup. We're back down to about an hour and 20 from Linwood and an hour and 40 from Everett to Seattle. That's 25, maybe 30 minutes slower than it should be. A lot of people have headed over to I-5 now as well. It's still running at an elevated hour and 20 from Everett to Seattle and about an hour of that away from Linwood. So we still have a lot of work to do coming down out of Snohomish County. Now, the drive is getting better from south to north, so Pierce County's cleared out nicely. Some brake lights in South Tacoma on I-5, a little bit up the I-5 corridor to 18, and then Federal Way to Seattle's back under an hour. We're still hovering right around 50 minutes from Puyallup to Renton, even though it's not too bad in Auburn. The show is really from about 212th and Kent on up, and then Renton to Bellevue is 40 minutes. Lake bridges are still holding it together. Over Tiger Mountain, a little braking across the summit, but you can handle it. And way up north, for those of you coming down from Bellingham trying to get into Burlington, 5-mile backup now, 20-minute delay on southbound I-5. Right lane remains blocked there at Bothell Road. One of two lanes basically blocked for this semi that they're still working to get out of the ditch. It's been there for hours. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Just a mostly cloudy day, maybe a few sprinkles depending on where you are. 65 the high. Then we will dry out. Mix of clouds and sun for tomorrow. 68 into the mid-70s for Thursday and Friday with lots of sunshine. Right now in Seattle, cloudy and 54.
Coming up, Angela Poe Russell is in for G. Scott. She has some thoughts about Bothell High School's vote to remove student resource officers. We'll talk with her about that coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com. Are you looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, ranging from the low 500s to the high 1 millions. D.R. Horton has the right home at the best value for you. Your new home is within reach, so what are you waiting for? Learn more about the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. Visit drhorton.com and schedule a tour today. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466, 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
There is one real estate agent who's been helping KIRO listeners longer than anyone else, and that's Wes Jones with sellwithwes.com. Wes, you've helped KIRO listeners in good markets and more difficult ones. What do you think has been the secret to your success?
Experience has taught us that to outperform the market, we needed to do things differently from the status quo, that we needed to do more. Our exclusive system covers innovative marketing locally and internationally, leading to more eyeballs on your home, better listing prep for better showings, negotiation strategies that eliminate pesky buyer contingencies, and generate stronger offers. Through our exclusive client programs, our sellers enjoy an extraordinary marketing experience utilizing techniques a traditional agent cannot offer.
So if you want to sell your home faster at a higher price and with fewer contingencies, if you want more, visit sellwithwest.com. Sellwithwest.com, a better way to sell your home.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Well, look who it is. G. Scott has the day off, so Angela Poe Russell is filling in. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning. I'm so glad to be with you
You're
all.
such a bundle of joy. I love it when you come in.
Thank you. I love being here.
Good.
Well, we sent you a list of potential topics to talk about during this segment. Producer David says you jumped at the opportunity to talk about what was the subject of my commentary this
Yes,
morning.
wasn't even a question,
Okay.
Charlie. I mean, we've been...
Did I speak too soon when I said you're a bundle of joy?
Right, because now we're going to dun-dun-dun. Now we're just going to flip it. Look, at the end of the day, though, it's out of a care for students, young people who are in just difficult situations. We've been covering the Bothell School District and the decision to remove a school resource officer, right? And this has come up in several different school districts, especially after. It was George Floyd, right?
Yes.
When all this stuff happened. And a lot of schools have realized that kids actually liked their school resource officer. Kids actually saw a need for them being the front lines, the person that's there for the students and kind of is that first line of defense. But what really struck me about your commentary was a quote from a school board member.
Yes.
So shall I reiterate? He says, our community... we owe our community something more comprehensive and equitable and more empowering to all community members. So I have questions. So if you owe them something more, what is it?
Right.
Number one, I don't have an answer to that. What is equity? I'm so tired of people throwing that word around. And I guarantee you, if you ask a follow-up question, I'm not sure. Like, do you understand what is not equitable about removing? I'm asking, I don't know.
Honestly, I thought I used to understand, but it is a moving target.
It's become a buzzword.
Yeah, I'm over it. Like, stop using it. Like, unless you can explain what that means, it just feels like something that you've heard at a workshop that you should use. I mean, but you were kind of thrown by that same quote, right?
I was. I mean, one of the things I didn't get to in the commentary is I've got a high schooler, I've got a middle schooler. I'm not sure adults fully appreciate how fearful these kids are of school shootings. They think about it all the time.
Yep.
And having that school resource officer there, somebody they know is there to protect them, it's huge.
Right. So how dare you, as a board, as you sit in your offices in the comfort of your home, working from home or whatever you do, while these kids are actually sometimes targets in a public school building. And I'm sorry, if you have that many kids protesting, even if you have a few that see it the other way, if you have that many kids protesting, you need to listen and come up with something. And if you don't have an answer other than just, well, we needed something more equitable, but you don't know what it is, this is just not right. Now, I had another question. So they were saying that some people feel uncomfortable. Okay, so maybe there's something in the middle to resolve, but we just get rid of it. And I also think this highlights, how often have you heard people who would be great elected leaders and they're like, oh, I don't want to do politics.
Yeah.
I mean, this is that reminder for me that it's so important that we stay engaged. I know politics is ugly and it can be nasty work, but I really do think it's important that people step up and be part of the process so that you can have, because I just think in general in this state and in various districts, I think we've lost it. Boy, have I gone too far?
No, I guess the question is, I don't know about you, Angela. I feel kind of politically homeless, right? Like,
yes,
that's a really good way to put it.
Wow.
You have the extremes. We're hearing about this. We're hearing about a slush fund from the president at the same time. Where do we go from here? Because speaking about equity, when it's a cop in a school and people are generally in favor of cops in schools, where do we go from here?
You know what my thought is? I feel like if we're able to just let go of the whole party thing, like, can we just let it go right now and just have a real discussion about the issue.
As human beings.
Yes, as human beings, because then I'm not trying to judge you from a specific angle. I'm just saying, okay, what are the kids here wanting? What are they saying? And unless you have an alternative, it's almost like the camera thing, saying, okay, we're just going to, I mean, I'm so glad that UW had cameras in the laundry room. I'm so glad that people had cameras around.
It's
there are no perfect solutions.
It's dogma. I mean,
but I think student safety should be paramount.
Okay, we only have about a minute left, but can we go back to Bundle of Joy, Angela Poe?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so last time you were in the studios, I was chatting with you about your book that was turned into a musical, which opened Friday at Seattle Public Theater.
Yes, yeah, we had an opening. It was an amazing opening weekend.
Aviatrix.
Yes, Aviatrix the musical, and at Seattle Public. It has been amazing to see people's reactions to it. I've loved that I've seen kids enjoy it.
Not only their reactions, but what's it like to see your baby hit the stage?
It's a dream come true.
That's awesome.
I mean, I know it sounds cool, but it truly is a dream come true. And I think the biggest surprise is how I can watch it multiple times. And every time I think some things are funny, every time I think it's inspirational, every time I'm just, I'm just blown away by it. It feels new to me every time I see it, which is crazy.
That's what's so fun about a live performance, right?
There's always something that happens.
Where do we get tickets?
Let's see, seattlepublictheater.org/aviatrix.
Awesome.
And one thing people should know, even if it looks like it's sold out, I learned a fun fact that 10% of people who buy tickets actually don't show up.
Oh.
So we keep a rush list. So just show up to the theater an hour before, and most people get in and get seats.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Angela Poe Russell coming up on the G and Ursula show. Sully, take it away.
Still rolling with about a 20-minute delay on southbound 405 after that long-term crash we had in Totem Lake. It's getting better. The backup now down to about 7 miles, which I know is terrible, but for a while it was 12. We got about an hour and 20-minute trip from Linwood to Bellevue, hour and 40 still all the way from Everett. I-5 much faster, hour and 20 from Everett to Seattle with an hour of that away from Linwood, though some people have decided to go that direction, so it's going to take a little while for us to clear this out. Looking at the rest of the map, Renton to Bellevue about 40, Valley Freeway back under 50 minutes, which is great. Still about an hour from Federal Way to Seattle, close to 40 of that now from South Center. Really heavy those last couple of miles as you work your way past the West Seattle Bridge. Lake bridges, though, are still in very good shape. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Our forecast, just a mainly cloudy day. You might see a few sprinkles, 65 the high. But tomorrow, back to dry conditions, partly sunny and 68 into the mid-70s for Thursday and Friday. Right now, it's 54 in Seattle.
It's Angela and Ursula today. They will talk about Seattle City Attorney and how the police chief and how they are reacting to continued violence on Aurora Avenue. The pimp war is raging. That's on the way on KIRO News Radio.
Join the conversation and text your favorite show on the KIRO News Radio text line at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
A lot of businesses are gearing up for a busy summer, and that means choosing a bank with the accounts, tools, and services you need to be successful. The right bank can make a big difference, right, Brad?
It sure can, Dave. And WaFd Bank can help with business checking, loans, credit cards, and so much more. WaFd Bank is also an SBA preferred lender of choice, so you can grow with confidence.
Yeah, but what about when you need help with something? Is there a real person who's available and who knows how to help?
Absolutely. Our friendly and knowledgeable local bankers are ready and waiting to help you with whatever your business might need. From day one, our bankers get to know you and your business to build a strong foundation for future success. This especially helps when it's time to apply for loans and to spot gaps in your business operations, so we can recommend the services that would be most helpful.
Which is exactly why we say WaFd has you covered. To learn more, visit wafdbank.com or stop by your local branch. Discover why they were awarded Best Bank 3 years in a row. WaFd Bank, built for business. Member FDIC, loans subject to credit approval.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, start treatment at Revive Washington and get a free comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, and more. Take control of your health today. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206